Hey guys, hope you are well. So, welcome to the Anime Fictions 2.0. This is the story about what if Naruto unlock Uzumaki and Namikaze Bloodline at the same time. Hope you all will love this what if. If you did, do subscribe for more awesome what if. Share with your friends and enjoy them. Check out the other videos I have created. Comment down your opinion. So, without wasting any time, let's jump into the third part. Last time. Hanera, I am not going to kill you, so you better go before anyone from my or your village shows up, said Kakashi. I'm not leaving because I want to join the Hidden Leaf Village, said Hanera. Hanera, I don't think the Hokage would allow you to join us after all of this, said Kakashi. He will if you help me to convince him, and I will hand over the information that I have on the Hidden Lock Village, like the type of jutsus, how our spy system, and any other things that I know, said Hanera. Even if you did have that information, Inoichi would have found it when he was inside of your mind, but he didn't because you had purged them from your mind, said Kakashi. I do know the purge technique, however, from what you have seen I do know mind techniques, and the Hidden Lock Village had created a ceiling which allows you to seal away any secret information that you might know, so that when I am gathering the intel from the person who has entered my mind with my eye technique, they wouldn't find any useful information from me. The technique is called the Knowledge Lock Seal, said Hanera. Something like that would be useful, especially for members of the Black Ops, Kakashi thought. Okay, Hanera, let's return back to the Hidden Leaf Village then, said Kakashi as he and Hanera then began to walk back to the bridge. Current time. After finishing their conversation, Kakashi and Hanera made their way back to the bridge. As two individuals arrive at the bridge, the remainder of Team 7 are surprised to see Hanera unharmed and unrestrained. Kakashi, noticing the thick atmosphere, attempted to defuse the tension that permeated the air by explaining the situation to a tense Team 7, who accepted the quick explanation but still kept a tight watch on Hanera. After arriving at Konoha, Kakashi and Hanera immediately head to the Hokage Tower to explain Hanara's current predicament to Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage. After hearing the explanation, Hiruzen was quite surprised to see Hanera was willing to part with several of Jomi Village's secret jutsu to join Konoha. When Hiruzen questioned Hanera as to why she was so willing to leave Jomi Village, Hanera replied that Jomi Village was never really a home to her, and that Konoha seemed a much better alternative. After a lengthy conversation between the three, they came to the conclusion that Hanera had to go through rigorous testing and interrogation to determine if she was truly trustworthy to join Konoha's forces. At Konoha, within the Hokage's mansion. After 1 hour, all of the members of the Konoha team were presented. In front of there was all the members of the Konoha Council sitting down by a large wooden U-shaped table, who were the clan heads of all the clans within Konoha: the Hyuga, Aburame, Inuzuka, Sarutobi, Nara, Akimichi, Yamanaka, Shimura, and Karama. Though there were empty seats, Uzumaki, Senju, and Uchiha. Next was the high-ranking shinobi commanders. Then there were civilian side of the council, which were all the most wealthiest merchants within Konoha, and finally the three elders, who were all students of the former second Hokage Tobirama Senju, and in the middle of all of them was the third Hokage. He has long brown hair and featureless white eyes like all members of his clan. He normally wears very traditional, loose-fitting robes with a long-sleeved, brown haori. Shibi Aburame, like all members of his clan, has his eyes obscured by dark glasses which feature a single tassel hanging down from one side. He has very spiky short black hair and a mustache. He typically wears a high-collared outfit, while carrying a gourd on his back. Tsum has an animalistic look similar to that of her son Kiba. She has long, spiky, untamed brown hair, vertical slit-like pupils, elongated canine teeth and nails. She also has the clan Fang markings on her cheeks, as well as markings over her eyes and a dark shade of purple lipstick. She wears the standard outfit of a Konoha shinobi, consisting of a flak jacket and a black suit underneath, with the sleeves rolled up and bandages around her legs. Shikaku Nara has 2 scars on the right side of his face, which were probably his most noticeable feature. Like his son, he had dark hair tied up into a spiky ponytail, dark eyes, as well as a goatee. His ears were also pierced. He was wearing the standard Konoha shinobi outfit, and Shikaku's flak jacket is depicted as a deeper shade of green. Chozo Akimichi is a tall, plump man with long, spiky red hair and purple markings on his cheeks, with the latter being a common trait in the Akimichi clan. He wears a samurai-like outfit which entails a black suit completed with armor that has the kanji for food, shoku, on it. He also wears a rope belt, handguards, and instead of a forehead protector, a hachimaki tied around his head. Hamura is depicted with gray hair, a beard, glasses, as well as a constant frown that he's always worn, even in his youth. He also has a strong jawline, a facial structure he has retained even in his old age. As a member of the Konoha Council, he wears haori with a blue, full-length kimono that is tied using a white sash. Danzo appeared as a frail, old man, who would normally walk with a cane. He had black, shaggy hair, and his right eye was bandaged. Danzo has had an X-shaped scar on his chin ever since his youth. He wore a white shirt, with a black or dark gray robe over the top of it covering from his feet to just over his right shoulder. The robe conceals his right arm, which was bandaged and covered with 3 large golden braces. Now then, I have been wondering why exactly you have called this council meeting so suddenly, Hiruzen asked curiously. We called this Hokage-sama because of a recent report about a mission, said Inoichi. I see, and what mission are you wondering about? Hiruzen asked, but he could already guess what they were talking about. It's the mission involving Team 7 and Land of Waves, said Shikaku. Okay, and what have you been wondering about, said Hiruzen. You know exactly what we've been wondering about, Hiruzen, and I'll ask you directly, is it true that the genin Naruto Uzumaki knows the flying thunder the same that our sensei and second Hokage Tobirama Senju created and Minato Namikaze used during the Third Great Ninja War, as well as Naruto possessing a more advanced version of the chakra mold ability that Kushina Uzumaki had, and the ice release bloodline that the Yuki clan have, said Danzo, wanting to know the truth. Hiruzen took a deep breath, as he knew what everyone else's reaction would be like. Yes, it is indeed true. Naruto Uzumaki knows the flying thunder and possesses a more advanced version of the chakra mold ability, and the Yuki clan bloodline ice release, said Hiruzen, shocking everyone. How's that possible? Minato didn't teach anyone the flying thunder, so it isn't possible. A more advanced version of the chakra mold ability, I wonder what exactly can he do with it? The ice release bloodline, but how does he possess it whilst he isn't even a member of the Yuki clan, is he? The demon is getting too strong. We must do something before it tries to destroy the village again. Hiruzen, do you know how exactly does this know the flying thunder and possess those bloodlines? No, I don't know how exactly Naruto knows that or possesses the ice release bloodline, but as for the chakra mold ability, I believe it somehow evolved within him, perhaps because of the Kyuubi's chakra, said Hiruzen. What exactly can he do with the chakra mold ability now? Shikaku asked curiously. He's able to do not only to do actual damage to someone besides suppressing anyone's chakra, and he can form it into anything else besides chains, Hiruzen explained. The ability to not only suppress anyone else's chakra but also to be able to do damage and create other weapons would be a useful ability to possess, said Shikaku. Indeed it would be, said Inoichi. And then you add the fact that he knows the flying thunder and possesses the ice release bloodline, said Choza. And from what I heard, he's also a very talented genin, said Sim. We must find out how he knows the flying thunder in the first place, said Hayashi. Indeed, in case anyone who is planning to betray the village gets their hands on it as well and they share it with our enemies, said Shibi. I must try to get the boy into the foundation with the power of the Kyuubi as well as the chakra mold ability, ice release, and him knowing the flying thunder. He would be a useful weapon for the village in my hands, and I'll make him teach all my other shinobi the flying thunder as I have been after it for years, thought Danzo. A week later. With Team 7. Ever since their last mission involving the Jomi village, Team 7 has only done low-ranking missions again, and now Kakashi stood in front of his 3 genin, finally finishing their mission. And with that our mission is complete, and so you are all dismissed, said Kakashi. But it's only 10 a.m., and we can still do another mission, said Naruto. Shut Naruto-baku, I'm tried, so that's it for today, Sakura shouted. We literally have only just done 2 easy missions which were very simple missions and you're already tired. You really need to train some more, said Naruto. Shut Naruto-baku, I can't train too much or I'll get too muscular and Sasuke won't like me, Sakura shouted. 2 things: 1, you need to at least train to be able to say that you can't train too much, and secondly, there are plenty of kunoichi who train but instead of becoming muscular they got a great body from doing it, Naruto said, surprising Kakashi. Wait, so he checks out kunoichis, thought Kakashi. All these missions we've been doing have been nothing more than simply chores. I demand a better mission, Sasuke said proudly. How am I going to get even stronger besides training? Sasuke thought. Yes, Sasuke-kun is right, he deserves a superior mission, Sakura shouted. There isn't any better mission you can do anyway, that is, we'll meet up here tomorrow morning, Kakashi said before walking away, leaving his students on their own. Maybe now cause we're finishing early, Sasuke and I can hang out together, and he would see how perfect we are for each other, thought Sakura. You heard him, Sasuke-kun, so how about today just the 2 of us? Before Sakura could finish she was interrupted by Sasuke. I'm going home, Sasuke said as he started to walk back to the Uchiha clan compound. There is one mission, Naruto said to himself, but was overheard by Sasuke and Sakura. What are you talking about? Sasuke asked curiously. There is one mission that if we succeed it will come with a great reward, said Naruto. Like what? Sasuke asks, getting even more curious. To see what Kakashi-sensei's face really looks like under that mask, said Naruto. I hate to admit it, but he does have a point. I wouldn't mind seeing what he actually looks like, thought Sasuke. There's no way you will be able to get Kakashi-sensei's mask off, right, Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. I wouldn't mind seeing what Kakashi really looks like, said Sasuke. I couldn't agree more, said Sakura, changing what she said a second ago. What a total fangirl, thought Naruto. But how do we find out what he really looks like? Sakura asked curiously. Just a man with brown hair, gray eyes, purple marks around his eyes that go down his cheeks. He was wearing a green trench coat, a light brown scarf wrapped around his neck, and had a bag on while holding a camera. The photo submitted to the Hokage for the ninja registration form should be one of him without a mask on, but it's an extremely classified top-secret document. Accessing it would be no easy task, said the man. Who are you? Sasuke asked curiously. I'm Sukiya, a photographer. I travel to the east and west looking for scoops, and I have been searching around for a scoop and I happened to overhear an interesting conversation, said Sukiya. However, Naruto knew who he really was. The disguise. There was one thing that the person couldn't disguise, and that was their chakra signature, and this person in front of them was none other than Kakashi, and Naruto used his Sharingan to see if Kakashi's disguise was transformation or just was a get-up, and Naruto found out that it was a get-up. Meaning that it was Kakashi's actual face. So that's what he looks like under his mask, thought Naruto. Well, you are right, there's a rule that the phone for the ninja registration form must be on your entire face, said Sasuke. Will you let me join you in this adventure? Sukiya asked. What's your motive? Sasuke asked curiously. If I'm able to capture this Kakashi guy without a mask, I'll have the biggest scoop since the hidden leaf was established, said Sukiya. I don't think seeing your actual face would be that important, thought Naruto. Even if it's hushed up, I'm sure to make a lot of money out of this, said Sukiya. Will we be getting some money out for this as well? Sakura asked curiously. I'll buy you all dinner, so how's that sound, said Sukiya. Fine, this may turn out interesting, said Sasuke. Well, I got nothing better to do, thought Naruto. Sometime later. It was dark when Team 7 sneaked into the area where Konoha kept confidential documents on its own shinobis, the ninja registration forms, and currently Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura and Sukiya aka Kakashi were hiding in a building planning their next move. So the secret documents are stored here, so this is an infiltration mission, Mr. Sukiya. Will you be able to keep up? Said Sakura. Will you be able to? Thought Naruto. Before I started taking pictures I was a rank and file ninja, said Sukiya. Alright then, let's begin the mission, said Naruto. With that, all four of them went and stealthily jumped across the buildings, avoiding the guards, and eventually entered the building where the room that they needed to get into had a lock on the door, so Sasuke tried lockpick it despite Naruto could do it easily with his chakra mold ability to form the key to unlock it, but he had no luck. Can we switch? Said Sukiya. As Sukiya and Sasuke switched places, Sukiya immediately started to try to unlock the lock, and he managed to do it quickly without any trouble at all. Wow, it's open, said Sakura. Sukiya, what division did you belong to? Sasuke asked curiously. The intel unit that reported directly to the Hokage, said Sukiya, surprising Sasuke and Sakura. That's it, said Sakura. The ANBU Black Ops, said Sasuke. Things happened and now I'm retired, said Sukiya. Considering your past, is it wise for you to be doing this if you'll be targeted by the ANBU? Sasuke asks. Don't worry about it now, come on. Let's go, said Sukiya as he opened the door, and as they entered the room it was large and had many shelves that had boxes on them. We have to search in all of these? Sakura asks. Let's hurry, said Sukiya. After a while of Team 7 and Sukiya searching through boxes filled with documents about Konoha's shinobi, trying to find Kakashi's document, and eventually one of them found it. Found it. This is it, said Sukiya, and Sasuke and Sakura rushed over to him, while Naruto simply walked. Okay, let's open it, said Sukiya as he opened the document, and slowly pulled out the sheet of paper. We've been found, thought Naruto. Just then 4 cloaked and masked people appeared right behind them. We're taking you in, make a move and we'll take that as resistance. Depending on the situation we may have to take you down, said one of the ANBU Black Ops members. Afterwards, the 4 Black Ops member brought Team 7 and Sukiya straight to the Hokage's office, where the 3rd Hokage and a shadow clone of Kakashi was waiting, and the Hokage then gave them all a long lecture and threatened them that if they do something like that again they would send to prison or worse. Really? An infiltration mission? Said Kakashi. I'm so sorry, I tried to stop them, but they insisted, said Sukiya. So you planned on blaming us from the start if this failed, said Sakura. They wanted to see what you really look like, said Sukiya. You're a former ANBU Black Ops, aren't you? Honestly. Who cares what I really look like? Said Kakashi. Well, I won't lie, I'm a bit curious to know myself, said Sukiya. Anyways, try not to get in any more trouble, okay, Kakashi said before he performed the Shinshin node to vanish. But not far from Team 7 and Sukiya down the road, hiding from them, was the real Kakashi, meaning that one that they were talking to was just a shadow clone, and this Kakashi didn't have his mask on, showing that he has a narrow jawline and a beauty mark under the left corner of his mouth. However, just as Kakashi put his mask back on, he looked up at the sky and he saw something shocking. On top of the building that was in front of him was Naruto, looking straight at him before vanishing in a golden flash. Wait, did he know that it was me the whole time? Kakashi thought in shock. But what Kakashi didn't know was just before he spotted Naruto, he had a camera with him, and he took a picture of Kakashi's face without his mask on. But not far from Team 7 and Sukiya down the road, hiding from them, was the real Kakashi, meaning that one that they were talking to was just a shadow clone, and this Kakashi didn't have his mask on, showing that he has a narrow jawline and a beauty mark under the left corner of his mouth. However, just as Kakashi put his mask back on, he looked up at the sky and he saw something shocking. On top of the building that was in front of him was Naruto, looking straight at him before vanishing in a golden flash. Wait, did he know that it was me the whole time? Kakashi thought in shock. But what Kakashi didn't know was that just before he spotted Naruto, he had a camera with him, and he took a picture of Kakashi's face without his mask on. The current time. Hokage Tower. In the meeting hall of the tower, the Hokage and the Jounin Sensei of Konoha can be seen discussing the upcoming Chunin exams, which will take place in Konoha this year. Thank you all for coming so quickly, said the Hokage, once all the Jounin Senseis had gathered. Now, as some of you may or may not know, the Chunin exam is about to take place shortly. Upon hearing this statement, there was a significant amount of muttering in the hall, as many of the Jounin Senseis were surprised that it was time for the Chunin exam already. After a minute or two, things settled down again, where the Hokage then continued to speak. So I would like to hear any recommendations from those of you who believe that their team is ready to compete in the exam, said Hiruzen. For the next few minutes, a large number of Jounin Senseis stood up and walked towards the Hokage, where they each recommended them to their teams. The most notable of these teams that were recommended were the 3 rookie teams from this year's graduating class. Naturally, after hearing that the other rookies were entering the exam, many of the Jounin Senseis began to talk amongst themselves about how Chunin exams were going to go this year, especially with the Uchiha heir and the prodigy from the Hyuga clan. As the Jounin Senseis talked amongst themselves, Irika decided to voice his concerns about Naruto and the other rookie teams entering the Chunin exam. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but are you sure that it is wise to have 3 rookie genin teams, who only just graduated from the academy less than 6 months ago? Questioned Irika. Although I both appreciate and understand your concerns, Irika, the members of Teams 7, 8, and 10 are no longer your students, and if their senseis believe that they're ready to compete, then I'm certain they are, replied the old Hokage. If you feel that they aren't ready, why don't you test them for yourself? Kakashi said, his gaze not wavering in the slightest. If Irika had gained their attention before, Kakashi had just put them all on edge. There was no protest for the Chunin exams before, just the Jounin Sensei's approval and a minimum required mission count of 8. They had heard people object to the Jounin's decisions before, but they had never seen a Jounin push back. Hushed whispers carried through the room, most being bets of who would likely win the debate. Irika paled slightly but was intrigued by Kakashi's challenge. What exactly do you mean by that? Kakashi grimaced, but he explained what he was thinking without hesitation. It's pretty straightforward. You think up a test of a shinobi skill that you remember them either excelling or failing at. If they pass, then you will allow them to continue to take the Chunin exams. If they fail your test, then they won't be allowed to enter. The murmuring increased, most of them now thoroughly confused. Irika, however, understood what Kakashi proposed. I see. So you want me to prove that they are ready to take the exams? He scowled as he looked at Kakashi. What if I give them a test that I know that they'll fail at? Kakashi sighed. Then I guess they'll get pushed to their limits, which is what they need to understand if they want to survive in the shinobi world. Iruka scowled again. He already knew he was going to accept, and had already made a plan of action. He figured out that while Sakura was the weakest link on the Team 7, Naruto was the wild card. They would need him if they truly wanted to survive the second test. Since he knew Naruto could take on a Chunin with brute strength, he was going to test Naruto where he lacked most strength, his mind. Iruka didn't know what he was getting into. Alright Kakashi, I accept. Iruka ignored the other Chunins as they whispered. He stared at Kakashi, whose expression hadn't changed since they began talking or more likely arguing. Kakashi felt his team needed the exam. The pain and real-life experience would help them to grow while humbling them. The way they were now, should that not be severely beaten out of them, they'd die, well except Naruto. He also figured that a smaller test wouldn't hurt their chances, especially since it was their former sensei. What could go wrong, right? He thought. Other than Iruka chooses Naruto for the test subject. Later with Naruto. Naruto was currently eating bread that he baked from the new oven he installed in his kitchen. As he continued walking, Naruto noticed a suspicious-looking rock. He knew the rock most definitely fake because rocks can't move and aren't made of cardboard. He sighed, knowing who it was, so after eating the last piece of bread, he vanished and left a shadow clone in his place. The clone continued to walk, followed by the fake rock. The real Naruto landed behind the rock and pulled out the disguise. He almost laughed when the three children under the rock disguise didn't realize that as they continued to follow his clone. Only after the blonde intentionally coughed to catch their attention and a breeze blew their hairs, they turned to see the rock costume on the hand of the very one they were currently stalking. Their eyes bugged out, frantically searching for their disguise, and looked embarrassed at being caught. They turned back to see another Naruto. Confused, they glanced back and forth between them. The clone went out with a poof. Ha ha ha, boss, long time no see. Konohamaru scratched his head nervously, knowing he was caught. So who are these two? Naruto asks, pointing at the two unknown children with Konohamaru. I am the genius Udan, said the boy known as Udan. He had short brown hair and dark eyes. He had big circular glasses and wore a simple blue shirt which zipped up the middle, a pair of brown pants and sandals. I am the beautiful Moegi, said the girl known as Moegi. She has orange hair tied up, with red elastics, into two very large pigtails. She wears a red tank top over a pink t-shirt layered at the bottom. Her pants are gray and she wears the traditional ninja sandals. And we're the Konohamaru Corps, the three children said in union. And why are you three following me? Naruto asked, annoyed. I told them about how incredibly strong you are and your help training me to become the next Hokage, so they wanted to meet you, said Konohamaru. Yeah, that's right, Udan and Moegi said together. I haven't taught him anything, thought Naruto. Anyways, we gotta go. Bye, all three said at the same time. The three children turned and ran, only to bump into someone who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Hey, what's the big deal? Watch out where you're going. ING. The grandson of the third Hokage took steps back when he noticed the hidden stone village forehead protector placed on the masked ninja's forehead. Before he could scream, the man took the children and threatened them with kunai. The kids looked horrified. How easy it is to slip into this village unnoticed. Boy, I want you to give a message to your Hokage that I hold his grandson hostage. The blonde genin blinked. He already knew someone was following him and that someone was Iruka, judging by his chakra signature. He just wondered why he pulled out a stunt like that. He didn't know why Iruka disguised himself as a stone nin. There was no way he was a spy. He didn't have the guts. He was also acting horribly. If he wanted a hostage, he should have waited until Naruto was gone, not announcing his presence to him. He should have gone outside the leaf before sending a note to Hokage himself. That was a stupid thing to do. He was wondering if today was April's Fool Day, but it wasn't even April yet unless there was something wrong with his calendar. Not wanting to deal with whatever weirdness Iruka determined to pull, Naruto only stared at him as if he had lost his mind. Intruder! He shouted loudly, amplifying his voice using chakra. The shout rang through the area, causing Iruka's eyes to widen, as he didn't expect that kind of reaction from the blonde. Seconds after the shout, a squad of Umbu appeared. They found a ninja from the enemy village holding a kunai with two of the leaf children on his hold while one of them was to boot. They recognized one of them was the third Hokage's grandson. Before Iruka could say anything about his supposed job to test the Chunin candidate, he was already handled. The children ran to Naruto, crying in fear. Bye-bye. Naruto waved cheerfully at his former sensei, who was currently being paralyzed by the seal and dragged by Umbu. Inside Hokage office. All the older ninja and Hokage watched the whole scene from Hokage's crystal ball, and they sweat dropped at Irika's condition. Hiruzen looked at Team 7, Team 8, and Team 10 sensei. You can tell your students that they all are entering in the Chunin exam, he said. They all nodded and disappeared via the body flicker jutsu. Hiruzen looked back to the crystal ball. Okay, he didn't predict that kind of result. He had expected some fight, but this was beyond his imagination. Please, someone go to Umbu headquarters and tell them, Irika is innocent. It was just a test, he said to the remaining ninjas in the office. A couple of days later. With Naruto. As Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha, the young man was in deep thought, where he barely acknowledged the many people of Konoha who were giving him a glance as he passed them. The reason he was in such deep thoughts was that he was thinking of new ways of using his bloodlines, but was interrupted by Konohamaru and his friends. What do you want, Konohamaru? Naruto asked. Do you want to play ninja? Konohamaru asked. Suddenly the three of them heard laughter. They turned around to see the pink banshee, Sakura. What kind of ninja plays ninja? Sakura smugly asked. It helps you train in stealth, traps, strategy and tracking, Naruto explained, and Sakura just got deadpanned. Go away, flat chest, Konohamaru said, and an immense silence followed. Konohamaru, you should run now, Naruto said as he saw a murderous purple aura around Sakura that would put Orochimaru to shame. Konohamaru gulped and started running with Sakura in hot pursuit. Naruto just laughed as they watched Sakura chase Konohamaru. Obviously, Sakura, being a fangirl, had to go on a diet to keep her figure, so she barely could keep up with an 8-year-old. Konohamaru was still running. He made a sharp turn and crashed into another shinobi that was around the corner. Damn it, brat, that hurt, the shinobi said and picked up Konohamaru by the collar, getting ready to apply some punishment. However, when Naruto heard the crash, he went to investigate. When he arrived, he saw two strange shinobis with sand. The one holding Konohamaru wore a black, baggy, full-body suit with a red and yellow circle on the front. He also wore a black hood which covered his head completely and had cat-like ears and his forehead protector on his forehead. He also has a bundle in his back with white bandages surrounding it completely. The other shinobi's outfit consists of a single light purple-colored, off-the-shoulders garment that extends halfway down her thighs, with a scarlet sash tied around her waist. In addition to incorporating fishnet worn over her shoulders and legs, specifically on her right calf and her left thigh, she also wore her black forehead protector around her neck. Leave the kid alone, Kankuro, the kunoichi in the back said. I've got to teach him some respect, Temari, Kankuro replied to the female shinobi. Fine, but if you get in trouble I'm not helping, Temari replied, and Kankuro nodded, getting ready to smash his fist into Konohamaru. Sakura just looked scared of them until both Naruto and Hinata arrived at the scene. Hey clown, put Konohamaru down, Naruto said. Who are you calling a clown? Kankuro asked. He's not bad looking, Temari thought while looking at Naruto. You obviously. You're wearing a full-body catsuit with makeup, Naruto replied, which caused Temari to laugh a bit. It's not makeup, it's war paint, Kankuro said, getting pissed off by this leaf nobody and with his sister laughing. Whatever you say, just put the brat down right now, Naruto said, getting ready to spring into action if need be. No, I'm currently teaching him some manners, Kankuro said as he made a fist and prepared to punch Konohamaru. Seeing this, Naruto was about to make his move, but before he could, he suddenly saw a small pebble fly through the air out of the corner of his eye and hit Kankuro's wrist. After being hit, Kankuro almost immediately dropped Konohamaru, as he held his wrist in pain from being hit so suddenly and hard. When everyone looked to where the pebble came from, they saw Sasuke sitting up on the thick branch of a nearby tree. You're a long way from home and way out of your league, said Sasuke as he stared at Kankuro, who looked pissed at Sasuke stopping him. SS Sasuke-kun, cried Sakura with joy at seeing her crush arriving to the rescue. Even Naruto looked slightly pleased with Sasuke's arrival. Thanks to him, Konohamaru, who was now standing behind Naruto, was able to get away from Kankuro. I hate to admit, but nice going there, Sasuke, thought the blonde boy, as he glanced at his part-time teammate. Well, another local hottie, it seems Konoha has quite a few cute boys in it, thought Temari as she glanced at Sasuke. TSK, another punk to piss me off, muttered Kankuro as he held his wrist and glared at the young Uchiha. I suggest that you get lost, said Sasuke with a cold stare, where he then crushed the small pebble that he was holding in his hand. SSS, so tried both Sakura and Moigi, with heart-shaped eyes. Ignoring the girls ogling at Sasuke, Naruto stared at the two siblings. For once I agree with the Uchiha over there. So get lost. TSK, punks like you two tick me off. You're all talk and have nothing to back it up with. That's why the shinobi of this village are so weak, said Kankuro with a sneer. Is that so? Spoke Naruto, gaining everyone's attention, because if that's the case, then what does that make you a lot, as everyone knows that out of all the 5 great shinobi nations, Suna is the weakest. Although if you asked me, that's giving you too much credit, since if the shinobis of Suna have taken up bullying little kids to make themselves feel big, then they aren't worth even being called third-rate shinobis. Upon hearing this, Kankuro became furious, as he was a proud shinobi and wouldn't stand for some smart-ass punk insulting him or his village. Why you? Growled Kankuro, where he decided that he was going to teach Naruto a lesson, where he took off the large bandaged object that he was carrying on his back and slammed it onto the ground. What? You're going to use the crow for this? Cried a worried Temari, when she saw what her younger brother was going to do. Seeing that things were going to escalate and not wanting a fight to start in the street way, where Konohamaru and the other kids would get caught up in, Naruto decided to act. Doing some quick one-handed hand seals, without anyone noticing, as they were too busy staring at Kankuro and the object he took off his back, Naruto quickly prepared to end the battle before it could begin. After finishing the hand seals, his fingerless gloves and his boots began to glow a soft white, telling Naruto that the seals on them were deactivated. These seals, which were on his gloves and his boots, were put on by Naruto to help with his training. These seals were for a special jutsu called the sealing technique, for limbs weighting seal, which increased the weight of the objects exponentially, weighing down the target's limbs. These seals were placed on prayer beads, which would be wrapped around the user's ankles and wrists, but Naruto had improved on this technique, where he could put the seals on articles of clothing. Once the seals were deactivated, Naruto immediately acted, where he disappeared right in front of everyone's eyes, but before anyone could react to Naruto's disappearance, he reappeared right behind Kankuro, kicking the back of his legs and forcing the Suna Genin down on his knees and then holding his katana, which he had drawn, in a reverse sword grip against Kankuro's neck. What the? Cried Kankuro in surprise, as he couldn't understand what had just happened, as Naruto had been right in front of him 1 second and the next second he, Kankuro, was on his knees with the katana at his throat. So fast, thought Temari with shock, as she couldn't track him until he appeared behind her brother and forced him to his knees. Even Sasuke, Sakura and the kids were surprised at Naruto's sudden show of speed. Sasuke was especially surprised and angered since even his keen eyes weren't able to keep up with Naruto's speed. Quickly enough, though, Temari recovered from her surprise at Naruto's speed and went for her fan that she carried on her back. But before she could lift her fan off her back, she suddenly found a kunai blade pointed at her jugular. Naruto had seen what she was going to do out of the corner of his eye and had quickly taken out a kunai. Just don't, spoke Naruto coldly, without even looking at her. Way to go, Nisan. You're awesome, cried Konohamaru, as he cheered his older brother figure on, along with both Moegi and Udon. Naruto, of course, smirked at the younger kid's cheers, but quickly became serious. Now then, if you and your sister know what is best for you, the two of you'll apologize to the brat there, and then get lost, and not cause any more trouble. On hearing this, Kankuro gritted his teeth in anger and growled a little, Damn you punk, if I could I would dash. Besides, your teammate doesn't seem very happy, Naruto said, looking up towards a nearby tree. Suddenly from behind the tree that Sasuke was still on appeared another sand shinobi higher up. He is a little shorter than the average male of his age. He has fair skin and short, spiky, auburn hair which was sometimes depicted as red. He has green eyes and no distinctive pupils, or eyebrows either. He has 2 very notable traits in his appearance. Firstly, he has tanuki-like black eye rings. He had the kanji for love on the left side of his forehead. Sasuke was especially surprised and shocked that he couldn't sense the boy as he had his shinobi senses on high alert. How did he get there? He never made a sound, without any of us besides Naruto hearing him. Only Jonin at Kakashi's level is that smooth, thought Sasuke with a calculating look. Naruto, you can feel it, right? Said Kyubi. Yeah, there's no mistaking it, Naruto said within his mind to the Kyubi. Naruto chuckled. I never thought that I'd find another in all places. He looked at Gaara. Perhaps this exam won't be such a waste of time after all. Jinchuriki? Others from Konoha thought, not knowing what it meant. Who are you? Gaara's eyes narrowed. How does he know that? He dismissed others as his eyes focused on the blond boy. The name's Sasuke of the famous Uchiha clan, Sasuke said proudly. Not you, him, Gaara said, pointing at Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto made a mocking bow. Nice to meet you too, Tanuki. He whispered the last one, so only Gaara could hear it. Much to his siblings' surprise, Gaara's usually blank eyes widened in shock as he watched Naruto chuckle before he disappeared in a golden flash. Cool, all the children thought. Who was he? Kankuro cried out in disbelief. That's one question we're also trying to figure out, the pink-haired girl shrugged before she walked away from her spot, not minding the 3 sand ninjas being in the leaf because she already knew about the upcoming Chunin exams. The 3 children looked at them nervously before they decided to follow the pink-haired girl. She was a much better option than that red-headed psycho was. Later, Team 7 was scattered around their meeting bridge awaiting their sensei who had broken his own record for being late. Sakura was trying to talk with Sasuke who was purposely ignoring her while Naruto was sitting quietly meditating. The pink-haired girl's one-sided conversation instantly ended when she heard a poof of smoke. For what could have been the 1000th time, Sakura screamed, almost shattering her crush's eardrums. You're late. While Sasuke was rubbing his ear trying to get hearing back, Kakashi made one of his usual excuses. They all noticed Naruto hadn't moved from his spot. Sakura went up to him and screamed straight at him that Kakashi had finally arrived, but when she didn't get any reaction from him, she poked him. Naruto opened his eyes and took earplugs out of his ears. Did you say something, Haruno? Sakura's face turned a bit red. She stomped off. Sasuke was wondering where he could buy a pair of earplugs for himself. Kakashi jumped down. This is sudden, but I've nominated you guys for the Chunin selection exams. Here are your applications. He handed each of them a form. Though this is just a nomination. Whether to take the exam is up to each of you. Those who wish to take it should sign these papers and turn them in at room 301 by 4 p.m. 3 days later. That is all. He proved away again, leaving the still fuming Sakura who was screaming about having to wait all that time for a piece of paper. Maybe the exams will be interesting specifically with another one here, thought Naruto. After meeting up with Team 7 outside the Konoha Academy, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 entered the building and headed for the room where the exam would be held. As they walked up the flight of stairs to the floor where the exam was going to be held, they saw a large crowd gathered outside the room on the 2nd floor, where the exam was said to be held. As they got closer, they saw a boy in a green outfit being pushed back by 2 tall-looking genin, who were blocking the way into the room. You're actually trying to take the Chunin exam at your level? Mocked one of the genin. You kids should stay quiet while you still can, as you won't last in this exam, said the other genin. Please just let us through, said the girl as she helped her teammate back up and then tried to walk though, only to be pushed back by one of the 2 boys. Hey, there's no need to do that, spoke another genin in the waiting crowd. Huh! We're doing you all a favor by keeping from doing the exam, as it is extremely difficult, and we've seen people get seriously injured in it, since they weren't ready for it, spoke one of the 2 boys who had 2 bandages on his cheeks. He's right, as a Chunin is a leader of the squad and it's his job to make sure that his subordinates come back alive from a mission, so what's wrong with weeding out the weaklings, as they aren't going to pass anyway if they can't get by us, said the other boy. That's a pretty sound argument, but I'll pass, said Sasuke as he stepped forward. Also undo this field that you created by using genjutsu, as I want to go to the 3rd floor where the exam is being held. Idiot was supposed to get rid of weak people who are fools to fall for it, Naruto thought, annoyed. Upon hearing this, many people in the crowd grew confused, not understanding what Sasuke was talking about. Oh, so you notice? Spoke the boy with the bandages on his face. Yeah, you guys also noticed earlier? Said Sasuke when he looked back at Naruto and Sakura, as both of you have the best analyzing skills and genjutsu to know how on our squad. Naruto just nodded, as he had indeed noticed upon coming to the 2nd floor. While Sakura, who hadn't really noticed at all, just pretended to have and take any praise she could get from Sasuke. You're pretty good, but just being able to detect it isn't good enough, said the boy with the bandages on his face. He quickly flipped forward to kick Sasuke, who saw it coming and prepared to block the kick with a kick of his own. But just as the 2 were about to hit each other, Lee suddenly appeared between them and caught both their legs. He's fast, thought Naruto with some surprise, as he only noticed Lee right when he appeared between Sasuke at the other genin. He's a completely different person that he was a moment ago. He must have been only letting those guys push him around so to keep his real skill level from everyone else so they would underestimate him. He stopped me with just a kick, thought Sasuke with some surprise and annoyance at how easily Lee had caught his kick. Soon after, Lee let go of both Sasuke and the other boy, where when he did, his teammates walked up to him. "You broke our promise," said Neji, when Tenten came up to Lee. "You're the one who didn't want to gain people's attention by doing something to stand out." "I'm sorry," Spike Lee, where they then turned to look at Sakura and blush a little. Upon seeing this, Neji scoffed as he figured Lee had done what he did to impress Sakura. After being scolded by Neji, Lee then walked up to Sakura. "My name is Rock Lee, let's go out together. I'll protect you till the day I die." Spike Lee, where he then did his nice guy pose. Upon hearing this, Naruto had to bite down hard on his own lip to keep from laughing at the look of horror on Sakura's face, after hearing Lee. But even still, he could not help but let a few snickers out. "I guess it's true, there really is always someone out there for someone else," thought the young blonde with a slight chuckle. The green-clad boy started to walk towards Sakura, a small smile on his face as he greeted her. "Hi. My name is Rock Lee. So yours is Sakura." He blushed. Sakura stared at him for a moment before she spoke. "No way. You're lame." She deadpanned that caused Lee to slump in depression. Sakura was quick to speak. The boy was lame, his jumpsuit, hair and everything about just seemed wrong. No," she said. "Sasuke-kun," she thought to herself. Sasuke seemed disappointed at her answer. He had hoped that the girl would accept Lee's proposition and leave him the heck alone, but it seems that it was not to be. Lee seemed disappointed at the rejection and brightened up slightly. He looked straight at Naruto's eyes. "You are Uzumaki Naruto, correct?" Naruto nodded. "Guy-sensei told me that you are the best taijutsu user out of all the genins from this year," he said. "Fight with me, I would like to see if you really are good. I'm a taijutsu specialist. If I want to be the best, I must beat what is considered the best." "Look, normally I would accept, but we're in the middle of exams, so the answer is no," said Naruto. When it sank in his head, Lee took a taijutsu stance. "I'm afraid I must insist," he said. Naruto knew the boy was not going to take no for an answer. He really hated being dragged into a fight he did not wish to take part in. He looked at Lee for a second, then disappeared in a burst of speed. Despite Lee being in a taijutsu stance, he was not expecting Naruto to attack him. He was also not expecting Naruto to move at the speed he moved at. He could only move at that kind of speed without his weight. Naruto wore no weights, he only wore them when he was training. Now Lee found himself wide-eyed. Naruto's sword was on his neck, poised to pierce it. He could not do anything at the situation he was in. Naruto's knee was down on the ground as he needed to get low to get into the position he was in. He was in front of Lee with his sword raised. Everyone who saw him was shocked at his speed. Sasuke gritted his teeth because he hated seeing Naruto look strong. He hated admitting that Naruto was faster than him. Even with his Sharingan activated, he had only increased his strength by a few miles, but it was nothing compared to Naruto. "I refuse," Naruto said firmly. Lee nodded slowly. "Good," Naruto said, retrieving his sword. He sheathed it and walked past Lee, causing his teammates to follow him behind. They had an exam to take. Sasuke glared at Naruto's back with his fist clenched. He had tried so many ways to surpass Naruto, but he still failed to do that. He needed more power to surpass Naruto. If he could not defeat Naruto, then there was no way he was going to be able to defeat Itachi. He needed to beat Naruto first, then he would be able to defeat Itachi. On the way to the exam hall. As they headed down the hall, Sasuke couldn't help but think about all the skilled genins he had already met. All these skilled opponents. Things look like they're going to be interesting. It wasn't long until they heard someone behind them. "You, with the dark eyes, hold on." The trio turned to see the genins in the green leotard behind them on a platform above them. Naruto raised an eyebrow, Sakura cringed, and Sasuke remained impassive. "This guy again," thought Naruto. "What is it?" asked Sasuke. "Will you fight me here and now?" asked Rock Lee. Upon hearing this, Sasuke raised his eyebrow, unsure whether to accept Lee's request or not like Naruto did, although as he stared at Lee, he remembered how easily he had caught his kick earlier. "Fine, I accept," said Sasuke with a smirk, as he was eager to have another go at Lee. "Don't, Sasuke, remember we don't have time for stuff like this," said Naruto. "Don't worry, Naruto, this won't take long," replied Sasuke confidently, where he then charged straight at Lee, who waited for Sasuke to come to him. "I'm sorry, Guy-sensei, but I fear I must break my promise and use that move," thought Lee, as he saw Sasuke charging at him. As Sasuke neared Lee, he quickly brought his right fist forward and went to hit him, but just as he did, Lee disappeared right before his eyes, much to his shock. The next thing Sasuke knew, Lee appeared in midair behind him and cried out Leaf Whirlwind, as he did a spinning midair kick. Sasuke although quickly ducked under the kick, but as he did, Lee came around again with another spinning kick. Knowing he couldn't avoid the second kick, Sasuke quickly brought up his right arm to block it, but somehow Lee was able to pass through Sasuke's guard and hit Sasuke dead on the side of the face, sending him flying. Naturally, Sakura was surprised by this, as she had seen Sasuke bring his guard up. Whoever this Rock Lee guy is, he's good at taijutsu, thought Naruto, as he could tell how Lee did it. What the hell was that? Did he use some kind of ninjutsu or genjutsu to get by my guard? Thought Sasuke. He slowly picked himself up. Impressive, even after I delivered a direct hit, he is still able to stand up, but I expected this nonetheless, thought Lee as he watched Sasuke pick himself up. Humph. I guess this is a good time as any other to use my thing, stated Sasuke, where he then channeled chakra to his eyes and activated his Sharingan. The Sharingan, thought Sakura when she saw Sasuke's eyes. So those are the famed Sharingan I've heard all about, thought Lee as he got ready, as he knew what to do next. Yes, Sasuke-kun can definitely win now, as with the Sharingan he can see through whatever technique that bushy eyebrow guy is using, just like Kakashi-sensei, thought Sakura. You really are amazing, Sasuke-kun. Now I will know all of your secrets, thought Sasuke as he readied his eyes and charged at Lee again. But just as he neared Lee, the bushy eyebrow boy disappeared right before his eyes again. After which he reappeared directly underneath Sasuke and cried out Leaf Rising Wind, where he kicked his leg upward and set Sasuke flying up into the air, much to the horror of Sakura and interested Naruto. His moves. I couldn't detect them with my Sharingan, thought Sasuke, as he floated in midair before landing back on the ground. After which Lee then charged at Lee, where he engaged Sasuke in a fierce taijutsu fight, where he was forced on the defensive, since Lee avoided every strike that Sasuke tried to hit him with. After a minute or so of fighting, Lee quickly ducked under another punch from Sasuke, where he then delivered a power elbow to the stomach, causing the young Uchiha to stumble back a bit and hold his stomach in pain. As you can see, my moves are solely hand-to-hand combat, Spike Lee, where he once again disappeared and reappeared behind Sasuke, who spun around and tried to hit him, but missed again, as Lee jumped back to avoid the punch. I am well aware of the abilities your Sharingan has, where it can see through any ninjutsu, genjutsu and taijutsu, but unlike the first two, taijutsu is a little different. As unlike ninjutsu and genjutsu, there is no requirement for forming seals or needing chakra. What do you mean by that? Asked Sasuke, who had gotten over the shock of Lee knowing so much about his Sharingan. What I mean is that even though your Sharingan allows you to see my movements, your body does not have the speed to keep up with my moves, which is why you cannot beat me, Spike Lee confidently, which of course angered Sasuke. Naruto nodded his head, agreeing with Lee as he was aware of this limitation involving the Sharingan which he used creating his Aonite Sharingan, but this of course also made him wonder even more who Lee was. Infuriated at how Lee was beating him with little to no trouble, Sasuke charged at Lee, swinging wildly in the hopes of hitting the older boy. But each time Lee easily evaded Sasuke's attacks. Your Sharingan and my superior hand-to-hand fighting skills are a bad combination, Spike Lee as he avoided more of Sasuke's punches. After which he moved forward to attack Sasuke, who tried to block, but was too slow and once again was kicked into the air. After which Lee then used his shadow of the dancing leaf to appear right behind Sasuke. Now I shall prove to you with this move, that hard workers such as myself can surpass natural geniuses like you, Spike Lee, where he then loosened his bandages around his arms. I win, stated Lee, where just as he was about to deliver the final blow, he noticed an object at the corner of his eye, flying through the air at great speed, where it pierced the ends of Lee's bandages and pinned them to the wall, stopping Lee from doing his final move. When the object pinned the bandages to the wall, those watching the fight saw that the object was a paper windmill. After which a person suddenly yelled out, "Stop right there, Lee!" When everyone turned, they saw a large red turtle with a Konoha headband around its neck. Seeing the turtle, Lee quickly moved away from Sasuke and quickly reappeared on his knees in front of the turtle. At the same time, Sakura quickly jumped forward and caught Sasuke, who had been falling to the ground, after Lee moved away from him. Sakura of course asked Sasuke if he was alright, but the Uchiha did not acknowledge her question and just continued to stare at Lee, who was still kneeling in front of the large red turtle. Looking at Sasuke, Naruto could tell that he was still in shock over what just had happened, something that Naruto couldn't fault him for. Lee had utterly overwhelmed Sasuke with his superior speed and combat skill. Even Naruto had to admit that Lee was an extremely dangerous person to fight, where he was unsure if he could beat Lee without going all out, given what he just saw. Quickly turning back to Lee, Naruto saw the large red turtle scolding Lee over using the move that he was about to do. Saying how it was forbidden, this of course made Naruto all the more curious as to what the move was. At the same time that the turtle was scolding Lee, Sasuke was glaring daggers at the back of Lee's head, as he couldn't believe that he got beaten by a weird guy like Lee. After scolding Lee, the red turtle then said, "Guy-sensei, please take care of the rest," after which a large puff of smoke appeared on top of the turtle's shell. Once the smoke dissipated, an adult-like version of Lee without the bandages around his arms and wearing a vest appeared on top of the turtle, doing a ridiculous-looking pose. "You guys are in the springtime of your life, aren't you?" cried the man named Guy when he appeared. Naturally, upon seeing Guy, all the members of Team 7 were completely freaked out by the man. "This guy is an even bigger weirdo than that other one," stated Sasuke, where for once Naruto was in complete agreement with him. "Hey, don't make fun of Guy-sensei!" cried Lee angrily, as he turned around to look at Naruto and the others. "Kind of hard not to, with all these weirdos around," replied Sasuke with his normal arrogant tone. "What did you say?" cried Lee out angrily. "Lee, cut it out," said Guy, not really caring what Sasuke had said, where once Lee had turned around he slugged the U-boy right in the face, calling him an idiot and sending him across the room, which freaked the members of Squad 7 even more at what Guy had done. After punching Lee, Guy then went over to his student, where out of nowhere a sunset background appeared out of nowhere. "Sensei." I said Lee, who was crying in the anime tears of sorrow. "It's okay, Lee, don't say any more," spoke Guy as he knelt down next to Lee. "Sensei!" cried Lee as he jumped into his sensei arms. "Lee!" cried Guy as he hugged his student, after which a giant wave appeared in the background. Naturally, upon seeing this sight, Sasuke and Sakura were horrified beyond words. "Agug! What the hell is this thing? It has to be some kind of genjutsu!" cried the terrified Sasuke, as he tried to cancel the cursed thing, but found he could not. "Someone stop it, please, for the love of Kami, stop it!" cried Sakura. However, as this was going on, Naruto, lucky enough, wasn't able to see but wondered what it could be if it made Sasuke and Sakura act that way. "Yes, this is youth," spoke a crying Guy as he continued to hug Lee, which made Naruto begin to wonder if this was crossing student-sensei relationship. "Sensei," said Lee. After a minute or so, Guy let go of Lee and stood up. "It's okay, Lee, it's normal to make mistakes when you're young." "You're too kind, Sensei," said Lee. "Now, run 100 laps at the training ground in the sunset," said Guy, a still crying Guy, as he pointed to the doors outside, where somehow the sunset background appeared again. "Hi, Sensei," replied a still crying Lee. "Let's go," spoke Guy. "Yes, sir," said Lee. "Wait. You can't go, the Chunin exams are about to start. If you leave now, you'll miss it," cried Naruto. "What? Oh yeah?" said Guy as he scratched his head out of embarrassment, as he had forgotten about the exam. Turning back to Lee, Guy spoke to his student. "Lee, I am going to punish you for fighting and for breaking a promise after the exams, okay?" "Hi," replied Lee, where he saluted his sensei. Their idiots thought all the members of Team 7-7 at the exact same time. Soon after, though, Guy turned to the 4 genins and finally took notice of them. They must be Kakashi's. But the blonde boy, could he be? Thought Guy. Crap, he's looking our way, thought Sakura with worry. "You young boy," said Guy as he pointed at Naruto, "are you by any chance Naruto Uzumaki?" "Yeah, that's me," replied Naruto, which of course got a surprised gasp from Lee, who had been unaware of who Naruto was, as he had never bothered to ask. "Yash! I heard all about your skills as a shinobi from my friend Kakashi. You're a very impressive shinobi," said my Guy. "Excuse me, Guy-sensei, but do you know Kakashi-sensei?" asked Sakura. "I don't just know him. People call us eternal rivals," said my Guy. Upon hearing this, all 4 genin gave Guy a weird look, not believing that in the least, as it sounded completely fake. Naturally, seeing the skeptical looks on the 4 genin's faces, Guy decided to prove himself, where within the blink of an eye, Guy disappeared and appeared directly behind them. But none of the genin knew this until Guy spoke from behind them, making all 4 of them jump slightly. "Currently now the record stands with 50 wins and 49 loses," spoke Guy when he reappeared behind Team 7. Naturally, after hearing God's voice from behind and turning around to see, all 4 genins were shocked, as none of them had sensed him until he spoke up. "But when did he?" thought Sakura. What? He's fast, thought Sasuke. As expected from the famous Maito guy, thought Naruto, as he had heard of Might Guy. Also, let me tell you all that I'm stronger than Kakashi, stated Guy. Stronger than Kakashi? Thought Sasuke, who was unsure whether to believe Guy or not. Well, his speed is definitely better than Kakashi. Damn it, there's no way he can be bluffing, especially after what he just did. It is expected of Might, he's one of the best taijutsu users in the ninja world, thought Naruto. Lee caused you all some trouble, but please forgive him, as he meant no real harm, said Guy as he looked at Naruto and the others, who just nodded. After which he then freed Lee's bandages from the paper windmill that he pierced it with, so as to allow Lee to rebandage his hands. As he did, Naruto noticed the many bruises and cuts that were underneath Lee bandages, showing how hard Lee must have trained. Once Lee was rebanked, Guy then told them that both Lee and them should hurry to the exam or else they would miss it. After which both Guy and the large red turtle puffed away in a puff of smoke. Sasuke-kun, before we parted, let me say this. To be honest, the only reason I wanted to fight you was to test my skills. You should also know that there is someone else on my team who is stronger than me, and you've met him earlier. You're referring to that guy from earlier? Asked Sasuke, where Lee just nodded. I entered this exam to defeat him, but you're also one of my targets, as are you, Naruto-kun, Spike Lee, where he then saw Naruto getting called an impressive shinobi by his ideal Might Guy and was this year's Rookie of the Year. Naruto just nodded, while Sasuke narrowed his eyes and gritted his teeth in anger, as his defeat at Lee's hands was still fresh on his mind. I suggest that you both prepare yourselves for the exam, finished Lee before he jumped away and ran to where his teammates would be waiting for him. Well, I guess that the Uchiha clan isn't all that great after all, said Naruto. Naruto, why you? Cried Sakura angrily, where she was about to try and hit Naruto for his remark, but before she could, Sasuke suddenly spoke up. Shut up. The next time I face him, I'll slaughter him. If you believe that, then I can assure you that he will beat you into the ground, worse than he did a few minutes ago, said Naruto, which of course infuriated Sasuke even more. Naruto, how dare you say that to Sasuke? Cried Sakura, as she couldn't believe how dare Naruto put Sasuke down. It's the truth, as I saw his hands, before he rebandaged them, they were covered in bruises and cuts from training, many of which were old ones by the look of them. This revelation of course surprised both Sasuke and Sakura, as neither of them had paid attention to Lee's hands. Given that this Lee guy has clearly been training more than you, and a lot more intensely, probably every single day to have all those injuries, it's that simple, stated Naruto. At first, Sasuke did not take what Naruto had to say well, but soon realized that Naruto was right, after which he just smirked. Well, that's just fine, as this just makes things more interesting. Naruto of course just smirked back, as he knew that his loss to Lee had made Sasuke all the more determined to do well in the Chunin exam. After a few minutes, Naruto and the other final made it to the room where the Chunin exam was happening. But as they neared the doorway, they saw Kakashi waiting for them at the doorway. Ah, so you all came, that's good, now you can all do the exam, said Kakashi. What do you mean by that, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Sakura, not understanding what Kakashi meant. In the exam room. When Team 7 entered the exam room, every single Genin's turned toward them and began glaring at them. Many of the Genin's teams, who were older than they were by several years, began leaking killing intent at the trio. Sakura paled and began to shake, having not had much experience with killing intent other than Zabuza at the battle on the bridge. Sasuke looked a tad nervous, but soon regained his Uchiha bravado. Naruto ignored their weak killing intent, and sent away his own / the Kyuubi killing intent toward them. He smirked when several Genins began to look away in fear. Just the trio were about to find a place to sit. A loud squeal erupted behind them. Sasuke-kun, I miss you so much! Ino jumped on top of Sasuke, wrapping her arms around his neck and her legs around his waist. Did you miss me too? Several tick marks appeared on Sakura's forehead. Get the hell off him, Ino pig! She shouted. Troublesome women, Shikamaru muttered. Don't tell me that you guys are also going to take this troublesome exam too? Asked an annoyed Shikamaru, as he and Choji walked up to Naruto and the others. Hey Shikamaru, hey Choji, you guys are all doing the exam as well? Greeted Naruto when he saw the two boys, who both greeted Naruto in response and acknowledged that they were indeed doing the exam. Huh, so you guys are all doing the exam as well, spoke a new voice, where when everyone looked they saw Kiba, Shino and Hinata walking towards them. Upon seeing Naruto, it made you young girl blush bright red and stutter out and try to nervous hello to him because she secretly had a crush on Naruto, while doing that thing she does with her fingers. Are you doing the exam as well? Asked Shikamaru in his usual bored tone. The rookie 9 of the Hidden Leaf, Kiba said excitedly, explaining himself quickly at seeing the confused looks. This is the first time in years that rookies have attended the Chunin exams, and we are the ones to do it. Boy! This is going one hell of a showdown. Hinata put a hand on his shoulder to calm him down. You sure seem confident, Kiba, Sasuke said. He had finally divested Ino from his back. Kiba scoffed. We did a lot of training. We won't lose to the likes of you, he said with bursting confidence. Naruto knew he was just hiding his nervousness. He turned from the group, casting a glance at an approaching gray-haired Gen in the leaf. The guy had small black eyes with round circular glasses on his nose. He wore a dark purple shirt with a white undershirt, and a white obi around his waist worn at a slight angle. He also wore dark purple pants with a shuriken holster on his left hip. All of you be quiet. The silver-haired genin stepped closer to the group, drawing everyone else's attention. You guys are rookies just from the academy, right? He asked, as if he hadn't heard Kiba's loud declaration. Screaming like schoolgirls, this isn't a picnic. Who do you think you are? Kiba asks, annoyed at the guy's obvious remarks. My name is Yakushi Kabuto, and you're so noisy. Take a look around you, he said. Kiba looked around him and gulped when he noticed that almost everyone inside was glaring at them. Have you already tried the exam? Sakura asked. Actually, this is my 7th try, Kabuto explained sheepishly, rubbing the back of his head. Man, you must be weak, Kiba said. These exams aren't easy. Maybe I can share some information with you. Kabuto started and took a deck of cards from his pockets. These are my chakra cards. They react to my chakra signature and reveal the information that I have gathered. As you can see, there are teams from all the countries. I can give you some information on anyone here, Kabuto concluded, and Naruto got suspicious. How could Kabuto have gained information on shinobi from other villages? Is there anyone we should know about? Naruto asked, wanting to gain any intel information about other shinobi teams. There's a couple actually, like there's one team that formed not long ago from Kiri. They are at different ages and they are right over each other, Kabuto said, pointing to a team. When Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura saw one of the members, they recognized them as Haku Yuhi. However, Haku had changed since last time they saw him, except his hair was still in the same style, but now he was wearing a sleeveless dark blue coat and black long-sleeved shirt underneath it, and carried a medium-length Chikuto blade on his back. He wore a pair of black gloves on his hands and wore his forehead protector around his waist, along with a long sash with the symbol of Kiri. He also wore simple black shinobi pants and a pair of simple shinobi sandals. She had long green hair and yellow eyes. She wore simple sandals and knee pads along with a short skirt, which just stopped below her hips. She also wore a loose shoulderless top, with a fishnet shirt underneath it, and had a long black scarf around her neck, which fell down to her lower back. On her arms she also wore a pair of armbands, elbow pads and fingerless gloves. He had short tufty blue hair, and dark eyes. He wore square, black-rimmed glasses connected to what appeared to be headphones, a blue pinstriped shirt and camouflage pattern pants. Also, he wore his forehead protector on the front of his holster, which he uses to carry Hiramikari. The sword itself is wrapped in bandages, leaving only the double hilt visible. He also has shuriken holsters strapped onto each of his legs. Their sensei was a rogue shinobi of Kiri but has returned. He's Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist, and is a member of the 7 swordsmen, said Kabuto. So Zabuza rejoined Kirigakure with Haku, thought Naruto. There is Haku of the Yuki clan, Chojuro and Tsukun of the Yuzuhashi clan, said Kabuto. Next up is a team from Iwagakure who are the same age as you, and they are over there, Kabuto said, pointing at another team. The first one he noticed was the biggest of them, who was easily the size of a middle-aged teen and was quite chubby, and could be considered a member of the Akimichi clan. He wore standard red IWA clothing, and as for his features, he had a very large round nose that stuck out like a sore thumb. The other was the second male member, who had violet-colored eyes and black hair. He wore a similar outfit to his teammate, but his version was dark brown and was sleeveless. The last member, and only female, had dark hair that stopped a little below her chin and dark eyes. She wore something similar to her teammates, but her left leg instead of a red pants leg was instead a mesh coat. Their sensei is a well-known shinobi, Kitsuchi Kamizuru, also known as Kitsuchi the Earth Titan because of his incredible skill over Earth style, and he's the son of the current Tsuchikage Anoki Kamizuru, also known as Anoki the Fence-Sitter, said Kabuto. Yeah, I'm giving Katsuchi a nickname. Kuratsusai, who is the daughter of Katsuchi, making her the granddaughter of the current Tsuchikage Anoki Kamizuru. Next is Akatsuki Doji, and finally Hojo of the Senryo clan and the grandson of the previous Tsuchikage Mu, also known as the Nullman, said Kabuto. There's a team from Kumo a year older than you lot, and is an all-boy team. Their sensei name is Moda, said Kabuto. The first member was a boy who had dark-skinned man with a slightly bulbous nose, black eyes that look bored, and shaggy, white hair which covers his left eye. He wore a blue vest that was covered by a black sleeveless jumper that reveals his black lightning seal which was on his left shoulder. He had a dark blue forehead protector around his right arm, black fingerless gloves, gray pants, black boots. He carries a broad, foldable, cleaver-like sword strapped to his back. He had a black forehead protector around his head. He wore a blue shirt that had long sleeves which he had rolled up above his wrists, but still under his elbows, light gray trousers and dark blue shoes. He also had a small holder strapped to his waist. He wore a white scarf around his neck, a gray t-shirt that had a V-neck, a dark navy blue jacket, golden bracelets around his wrists. He had his forehead protector as a belt buckle. He had black pants and black boots. He was also carrying a long sword on his back. The team members are Darui, the son of the current 4th Reikiji and the grandson of the previous 3rd Reikiji, C and Atsui, said Kabuto. And that's just a few, so is there anyone else you want to know about? Perhaps I have info about them, Kabuto offered. Sasuke was silent for a moment before he looked up. The red-haired ninja from Sand. Do you know his name? Kabuto asks. I think it was Gaara, said Sasuke. Kabuto nodded and shuffled his nin cards. Found it. Sabaku no Gaara, also known as Gaara of the Sand. He has done many C-rank missions and even several B and A rank ones. His sensei is Baki the Windcutter, and his teammates are his older siblings Temari and Kankuro, he told them. Rumors said that he didn't even have a scratch on him after doing his missions. That's one hell of an interesting guy if you asked me. Better stay away from him. Any others? Niji Hyuga, Rock Lee, and Sasuke looked at his blonde teammate out of the corner of his eye, Naruto Uzumaki. Niji Hyuga and Rock Lee are teammates under Mato Guy with another genin named Tenten. Lots of D-rank missions, some C-rank missions. Both of them excel in taijutsu. Hyuga Niji comes from the Hyuga clan, a branch member. Rock Lee apprenticed under his own jounin instructor, Mato Guy, the taijutsu specialist. He has excellent taijutsu for a ninja his age, but according to rumors he is unable to use chakra in the form of ninjutsu or... He took the next card. And the last one? Naruto Uzumaki. He is on the same team with Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. Their sensei is Kakashi Hatake, also known as the Copycat Ninja. He's this year Academy's Rookie of the Year. Naruto has completed 15 D-rank missions, 1 C-rank mission, and 2 A-rank missions along with his teammates. He has high taijutsu, high ninjutsu skill, but has no talent in whatsoever, although it seems to be immune to them. It's said that he has 2 bloodlines which normally should be impossible, but he does. First, he has what is called chakra mole, which allows him to form chains made out entirely of chakra which can suppress other people's chakra. However, Naruto has shown he can also use it to form weapons from it as well. And secondly, he has the ice release of bloodline. That is normally seen in Kirigakure, and he has also said that. Oh my. TT2K no, the Flying Thunder, the very same that earned the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze his nickname, the Yellow Flash of the Leaf, said Kabuto. Upon Kabuto saying this, the entire room was so quiet that a person could hear a pin drop, where all eyes were on Naruto. Damn it, there goes that surprise, Naruto thought, annoyed. With one of the 2 teams from Kumogakure. She had dark-skinned kunoichi with long spiky red hair and amber eyes, wore a long short-sleeved dress as her ninja attire, complete with purple stockings, boots with white soles, and wore her forehead protector like a bandana, she also carrying a long sword on her back. The guy had dark skin with short, spiky, white hair and dark eyes accentuated with lines curving upwards from the corners. He wore a dark outfit consisting of an overlong shirt with a hood, with red bandage hand guards and shin guards, and carried a long sword on his back. The last girl was a fair-skinned woman of tall stature and was wearing a stoic, aloof expression on her face. She has blue eyes and straight, blonde hair framing her face, cut in an asymmetrical bob style with the front bangs reaching her shoulders. She wore a very low-cut outfit with mesh underneath, a short skirt and red hand guards, high boots, and a short girdle that helped highlight her cleavage. She also had her tanto strapped horizontally to her lower back. Her name was Samui. Did you hear that the blonde-haired guy knows the same as the yellow flash of the leaf had and used it against Lord Raikage during the last great ninja war? Said Karui. Interesting, we must be careful around him, said Samui. Damn it, what if during the exam I have to face against, and he's extremely strong given how he knows the same that the yellow flash of the leaf knew, and with him possessing 2 bloodlines will only make him even more dangerous, said Omo. Stop overthinking about Omo, said Karui. But Omo does have a point, he will no doubt be strong, said Samui. The Raikage may want to know about this, said Karui. We'll tell Moto about it the moment when we see him, said Samui. It's a shame Lord B couldn't come and see us in the exams, said Omo. Omo, you know why Lord B couldn't come with us, said Samui. Hey Samui, what do you think will happen if we run into him? Karui. If what that silver-haired guy said is true, not well, said Samui. With the other team from Kumo. I didn't think we might be facing someone who's like the yellow flash of a leaf, said C. Dame, I hope this thing would be dull, Darui said in a lazy tone. There's no doubt about that, if we face him the heat of our battles will be hot, said Atsui. Hey Darui, wasn't there a shinobi from Konoha who possessed chakra mold as well? C asked curiously. I think so, said Darui. With the team from IWA. Great, the leaf is trying to create another yellow flash, said Kuratsuchi. But this one will also possess 2 bloodlines, said Hojo. That Tsuchikage wouldn't be pleased when he finds out, said Akatsuki. Yeah, no kidding, said Hojo. Grandpa is going to want to know about this, said Kuratsuchi. With the team from Kiri. So that's the guy who fought equally against Zabuza-sensei, said Tsuken. Yes, that's Naruto Uzumaki, said Haku. Haku, is it true that he knows the same thing as the yellow flash? Chojuro asked curiously. Yes, he used it when we fought back in the Land of Waves, said Haku. Back with the Konoha ninja. His information was way too accurate, Naruto thought. The info Kabuto had on him was the same as the one that had on him in their records. No way, Naruto, no, that Kiba said angrily, hating the idea that Naruto had something like that. Hey, I'm just reading what's on the card, said Kabuto. After everyone had gotten over the shock that Naruto knows the Flying Thunder, Kabuto then went on to explain how the top genin from Konoha, Kiri, Kumo, Suna, Ain, Kusa, Taki, Getsu, and a small recently new shinobi village Oto were here. Suddenly Naruto sensed an incoming attack in his direction. It was not just him who sensed the incoming attack, as so did Kabuto. Both of them turned around to find a sound nin with spiky, dark hair jumped in the air using one of the benches and levered a couple of at them, which they easily dodged. Suddenly, a second sound nin appeared in front of Kabuto, whose face was completely covered in gauze, only leaving his left eye uncovered, and with a strange device on his left arm. It seemed to Naruto that the focus of attack of the sound team was Kabuto. He watched with interest as the sound mummy nin swung his left arm in the face of Kabuto, which the elder boy dodged with ease. While all looked amazed at the reaction time of Kabuto for dodging the attack, Naruto felt disturbance in the air between Kabuto and the sound mummy nin, which made him narrow his eyes. He wondered the reason for the disturbance in the air between the two ninjas. His eyes widened when he saw the glass of Kabuto's glasses cracked and fell to the ground. Naruto narrowed his eyes further for a second and then smoothed his face. He looked at the sound genin who had swung his arm at Kabuto. He is equipped with earmuffs and his arm has a metal gauntlet. Naruto thought the only thing that has physical ability to strike yet remain unseen is the air or the sound. What's going on? You definitely avoided that punch. Why did your glasses break? Spoke Sasuke as he stood forward, with an annoyed and confused expression on his face. This question was of course shared by many of the others, who were watching the incident and unlike Naruto didn't know what truly happened, but just when everyone thought that was it, Kabuto fell to his knees and threw up, which received many more worried and confused looks from all the different genins. It seems that you're not as good as I thought you would be, given that you are a veteran of the Chunin exam, spoke the gauze-wearing boy named Dosu, who stood in front of Kabuto with the rest of his team. Write this in your card. The 4 genin from Otogekyo will definitely make it to Chunin, spoke the black spiky-haired boy named Zaku. As Zaku said this, many of the others in the room stared at Dosu and his teammates, with some curiosity over how Dosu took Kabuto out, after he dodged Dosu's punch. 4 genin, who's the 4th, thought Naruto. I will not accept that kind of behavior here, got that? A figure that was one with the smoke that had been born within the room said, sternly glaring at the students. He leaked out a dose of his killing intent to make his point. The killing intent prompted the genins to nod vigorously. The figure smiled. All right, you maggots, take your seats now, he said in a firm voice, making the genins hurry up to take their seats. The genins took each of their assigned seats, and looked back at the man in front of the room. I am Marino Ibiki. I am the proctor of the first test of the selection exams. The proctor introduced himself to the genins. Those who do not follow my rules will automatically fail, he said as he released a burst of ki scaring some genins in the room. In the exam room. After Ibiki and all the other Chunin examiners arrived, they quickly took charge of the room, where they had everyone quickly take seats. When Naruto's name was called out, he found himself being seated next to Hinata, which of course he did not mind, although the young Hyuga girl was nervous sitting next to her crush, which made her blush madly. After everyone was seated, Ibiki then began to explain the rules of this part of the exams to everyone. Much to everyone's surprise, they found it to be a simple written exam. Ibiki also then went on to explain that cheating was strictly forbidden, where he and all the other Chunin examiners would be watching them closely, and if they were found any of them to be cheating, then they would be disqualified from the exam straight away. Once Ibiki had finished explaining the rules, he then started to hand out the exam sheets and stated that they had 1 hour to do the paper, whereupon hearing this, all the genin immediately began writing. When the exam started, Naruto looked over the questions and found them easy, but he could tell that they were supposed to be difficult for the other genin, and Naruto thought that if they were only a few people who were taking the test and could answer them correctly, then the other genin were forced to cheat their way to pass the exam. Once Naruto finished the test, he turned it upside down and just sat there and waited. He watched several other teams being caught by Ibiki and the Chunin examiners, where they were automatically failed and sent out of the room. By the time of the last 5 minutes of the exam, about a third of the room had been emptied. When the time had come for the final question, Ibiki spoke. Well, now it seems that it is time for the final question, although I have to say there are more of you than I thought there would be. But still, there is one thing that I did not mention earlier when I explained the rules of the test to you, that rule being that you can choose to take the 10th and final question or not. Upon hearing this, the examinees were of course surprised and slightly confused at what Ibiki was saying. Choose to take the 10th question, what the hell do you mean by that? Asked Temari. It's simple really. If you choose not to take the exam, your points from this exam will be reduced to 0, where both you and your teammates will automatically fail the test, explained Ibiki. Then what's the point of giving us the choice? Of course we're going to take the question, stated a genin from Kusa. Well, you see, there is actually more to this rule, replied Ibiki, which made the examinees more nervous. For if you do the 10th question and you get it wrong, you'll not only just fail the exam, but you'll also lose your privilege for taking the Chunin exam forever. What the hell kind of dumb as a rule is that? Kiba said as he stood up and pointed accusingly at Ibiki. There are people who were a part of the Chunin exam in the past, so how can I be a part of this year? At this, Ibiki just chuckled darkly, making many of the genin nervous. You, I am afraid, were unlucky, as this year I'm the one making the rules, which is why I am giving you all the option of quitting, replied Ibiki, and then continued. Those of you who are not confident in answering the final question can quit now and take the exam next year and the year after that, stated Ibiki, before chuckling darkly again. I highly doubt the other villages would agree to something like this, and if by any chance you're telling the truth, there is still another way to become A, and that's being promoted by your Kage for your actions on duty, so I have nothing to worry about, said Naruto. After hearing this, Ibiki looked around the room, since after Naruto's little speech, the frightened and uncertain looks that were on many of the faces turned to looks of confidence and determination, the direct opposite of what they were a moment ago. Upon seeing how the atmosphere had been completely changed by Naruto's speeches, the Konoha interrogator couldn't help but smirk. So this is the Naruto Uzumaki. Pretty interesting kid, he completely wiped out everyone's uncertainty. 80 genin, eh? More than I expected. But still, since you all seem ready to take the question, I've only one thing to say. You all pass, Ibiki announced. After hearing this, the genin were of course surprised and confused at what Ibiki had said. After getting over her surprise, Sakura imminently took up and spoke. Wait, what do you mean by we passed? What about the 10th question? At this, Ibiki smiled. The choice to take the question was the 10th question, as there was no actual question to begin with. So what were all those other questions? Were they all just a waste? Asked Temari, with annoyance, at how they had been all duped. No, they had a purpose as well. They were all to test your information gathering skills, explained Ibiki, after seeing the slightly confused look on some of the genin's faces. He went on to explain the objective and goals of the first test, and how they were all tested, and how the test involved skills needed to be a successful Chunin. During the explanation, Ibiki even removed his bandana to reveal all the scars on his head that he received from being tortured, showing what you've to go through to keep the secret of your village from its enemies. Once the explanations were finished, a round object suddenly burst through one of the windows, after which a large banner with the words Second Examiner, Mitarashi Enko is here, appeared in front of Ibiki along with a tall violet-haired woman, who wore a tan overcoat, complete with a fitted mesh bodysuit that stretched from her neck down to her thighs along with a dark orange miniskirt. Upon her arrival, the woman named Enko cried out, "I am the sexy and single Second Examiner Enko Mitarashi. Now let's go to the next exam." After which Enko then pumped up her fist into the air and shouted out, "Follow me." At this, everyone in the room just stared at her with looks of disbelief. "You really need to learn to grasp the atmosphere, Enko," stated Ibiki as he stepped out from behind the banner, with a dull look on his face, where the violet-haired woman blushed in embarrassment. As Naruto looked at Enko, while unlike the most of the other guys in the room who were admiring Enko's looks and body, Naruto was more forceful to the dark chakra that he was sensing, which was coming from the right side of Enko's neck. So she's Orochimaru's former apprentice. Naruto thought. Thanks to his parents' memories, he knew that Orochimaru had an apprentice before he went rogue. After getting over her embarrassment, Enko counted the number of remaining genin, where she found that there were 8 genin left. "Ibiki, you let 26 teams pass? Your test must have been too soft," said Enko. "Or that there were quite a number of excellent genin this year," Ibiki replied. "Huh! Well, it doesn't matter," Enko replied before a sinister grin approved on her face, "as I'm going to make more than half of these teams fail the next test." Upon hearing this, many of the genin became nervous, especially given the sinister-looking smirk that appeared on her face. "Now everyone to the training ground 44. Be there in 20 minutes or you fail." "Let's go," Enko said, and everyone followed right behind, most boys who were checking Enko's ass and the most girls behind the boys getting angered of what the boys were doing. Outside of the Forest of Death. The Training Ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death, is one of Konoha's deadliest training ground, reserved only for an ANBU. The forest itself was home to various plants and deadly animals, from big spiders to gigantic bears and tigers. The Forest of Death is the traditional place for second round of every exams done in the Leaf. The exams are hosted in various countries and rotated. Every 4 years the Chunins happen in the Leaf, unless something happened in the village that it is supposed to be held at. To everyone from Konohagakure, the Forest of Death, as the name says, it's hell and one place you don't come near, but obviously this doesn't apply to the crazy snake lady, also known as Enko. To her, this place is her home away from home, and the reason she is always in charge of the second round. Of the original 200 applicants to the Chunin exams, more than half were failed in the first task. Now we are currently at the entrance of the Forest of Death. "This place gives me the creeps," said Sakura nervously, holding on to Sasuke's right shoulder as she looked at the dark forest. "All right, maggots. This is the place for your second test, Training Area 44, or better known as the Forest of Death," said Enko. Just then Naruto sensed someone with high levels of chakra entered the group, and it felt dark, but it was well disguised, preventing Naruto to figure out who it was. "Who the hell is that? If it wasn't for my strong sensing ability, their disguise would make me think that they're around level," thought Naruto. "And soon enough you kids will find out soon why this place is called the Forest of Death," Enko said with a sinister smirk, making most of the genins gulped out of fear while some just shuddered it off. Naruto could tell that Enko liked to plant seeds of fear within the hearts of other people. "Oh yeah, before we start I would like you to sign these papers," Enko said as she held a paper in her hand. The genin looked at her curiously. "In this test there will be killings, and I don't want to be responsible for your deaths, so you have to sign these waivers." The genin looked at her, some thinking they should quit. They were going to do the second test in a place called the Forest of Death, and now there was going to be some killings in the forest. It was too much for some genins. "I will explain the test before you sign the waivers. This test will be a survival test. The Training Ground 44 has locked gates, a river, forest, and a tower at the center. From each gate there is about 10 kilometers until the tower." Enko then paused for a moment to allow her words sink in. "In this training ground you will compete in an all-out, no-rules scroll battle. Each team will be given one heaven or earth scroll. For a team to pass you have to present both heaven and earth scrolls to the tower in the center of the training ground. There is a time limit. You have only 5 days to get into the tower with both scrolls to pass the test. If you arrive after 120 hours you will fail the test. There is not quitting once you enter the training ground. You will be in there for 5 days, Enko announced to the listening genin. "What do we do about food?" Choji asked while eating a bag of chips. He was very worried that he would have to be trapped in the training ground without his favorite food, barbecue and chips. "The forest is full of food. All you have to do is avoid man-eating bugs, poisonous insects and plants, The genin shuddered at the thought of being eaten by bugs. The forest was indeed a scary place. The forest will be full of enemies, so if you get to the tower faster with both scrolls you will avoid enemies. She paused for a moment before going on. Now let's get on to who gets disqualified. The first I have already told you, which is not being able to get to the tower with both scrolls and in time, she said as the genin nodded. Second is those who lose a teammate, or a teammate gets killed. Lastly, you must not open the scroll before you reach the tower. As a chunin you are expected to courier important documents. This will be a test to your trustworthiness. She finished her explanation to the genins. Come over here and take the waivers and sign them. Enko ordered as the genins went over to her and took the waivers to sign. Some were hesitant to do it at first, but every single one of them eventually did sign them, and they then handed them back over to Enko, who then gave each team their scroll, but either heaven or earth scroll, which she made sure that no other team would know which team held the scroll that needed to pass the exam. This was to avoid any team going after a specific team, and it would also cut down numbers because a team would take a scroll from another team they have defeated even though it is the same as theirs. She did not tell them that, they did not need to know it. Final word of advice before you lot head out, don't get killed, she said with a maniacal grin that made many of the genin think that she actually wanted them to kill each other. Each team went away to their assigned gate and got ready for the second part of the exams. Sometime later in the Forest of Death. Currently a young kunoichi from Kusa with red hair and glasses was trapped with a large tree behind her, and a large brown fur bear stood in front of her and was ready to attack her at any moment. The redhead kunoichi had been separated from the rest of her team, and she had been chased by the large brown fur bear for several minutes before finally being cornered by it. Seeing that she was trapped, the girl called out to her teammates for help, but sadly she received no answer. As the bear ready to pounce on her, the young girl ducked underneath it and tried to run away. However, as she ran, she tripped over a large root and fell to the ground and hit her head, temporarily knocking her out. The bear quickly turned around and right when it was about to kill the young kunoichi, but luckily Sasuke suddenly appeared and he delivered several powerful kicks to the bear's head, knocking it out, and once the bear was subdued, Sasuke propped the girl up against a nearby tree and searched her for any scroll. So does she have the scroll we need? Naruto asked as he walked up to the Uchiha. No, Sasuke replied. Dame, then it be with the two who I can sense nearby Naruto. As the two boys walked away from the young kunoichi, who was slowly waking up and saw two blurry figures walking away from her, she quickly grabbed her glasses and put them back on, where just as she did, she saw the two boys jump up to the trees and jumping away, but before they disappeared from her, the kunoichi saw Sasuke turn back to her and smile for a brief moment, after which he and Naruto regrouped with Sakura, who was nearby. However, just as they regrouped, a sudden massive gust of wind appeared out of nowhere and separated Naruto from Sasuke and Sakura. Oh, come on! Naruto shouted angrily as he was sent flying away from Sasuke and Sakura. With Naruto. After being blown away by the sudden massive gust of wind, Naruto found himself alone in the small clearing in the forest. What the hell was that? Naruto said whilst groaning in pain as he picked himself up. After a bit, Naruto managed to regain himself, which was none too soon, for as soon as he did, his shinobi-trained senses kicked in just in time and told him to move, which he did as a massive hit, while Snake appeared right above him and tried to eat him. Shit! That was close, Naruto thought, as he landed on the ground a few feet away from the giant snake. Seeing that it had missed its prey, the giant snake lifted its head and eyes Naruto with hunger in its eyes, where it hissed loudly and showed its long fork-like tongue and large sharp fangs. Seeing the snake looking at him, Naruto could tell easily what the massive snake was thinking and readied himself. After a moment, the giant snake struck and charged at Naruto and intended to eat him whole. Seeing the giant snake coming at him, Naruto readied himself by brought out his sword and held it with one hand whilst he had one of his unique kunai ready to throw and teleport away, and when the snake changed downwards at Naruto, he quickly thrown his kunai in the air, and as the snake was only a few meters away from him, Naruto teleported away and reappeared in the air directly above the snake's head. Then he readied his sword and started to channel lightning chakra into it with chakra flow, and Naruto then changed at the snake and embedded his sword in the snake's head, killing it. When Naruto removed his sword from the snake's head, the snake's entire body suddenly puffed away, revealing that it was in fact a summon, and once the giant snake's body puffed away, he then sheathed his katana. That was no ordinary snake, it was a summon, meaning someone ordered it after me, Naruto thought. But what was one of them doing here? Could that Enko woman have summoned it? Since she was Orochimaru's student after all. No! Since there are plenty of wild and dangerous creatures here already, And we are also up against people from teams there would be no point, thought Naruto. After a moment, Naruto realized something. Back before they started this part of the exam, he sensed someone who had a massive chakra amount that felt, and they had disguised it, preventing him to figure out who they truly were, but now he had a good idea. Naruto then used his sensing ability where he located Sasuke and Sakura, who were facing against the person with the massive chakra source from before, meaning that he was right. Why do I have to be right all the time? Naruto thought as he raced towards where his teammates and other people were at. With Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke stared at the strange Kusanine that appeared right after the gust of wind that sent Naruto flying, and then Sasuke turned and looked at Sakura, who wasn't injured, but the look on her could tell anyone that she was clearly terrified. And moment ago, just after the gust of wind, Sasuke saw a large snake chase right after Naruto. Sasuke did not have to worry about Naruto, for he knew that he could take care of himself, but right now he needed to worry more about himself as his opponent was incredibly strong from what he could feel. The Kusanine chuckled, looking at her prey. Sasuke could see that Kusanine's eyes were the eyes of a predator, with Sasuke as nothing more than prey, and the predator was staring at him in its glory. Come at me with everything you got, Sasuke-kun, the Kusanine spoke with a grin. Sasuke did not want to be told twice. He charged at the Kusanine. The Kusanine blocked a kick that was directed to her temple by Sasuke. Sasuke tried to kick the Kusanine again, but his attempt was blocked again. Sasuke jumped back from the predator and activated his Sharingan. The Kusanine seemed to like seeing the Sharingan being activated. Yes, that's it, Sasuke-kun, show me what you can do, she thought as she continued to chuckle mirthlessly, unnerving Sasuke. He dashed forward at her and attempted to punch her on the face. But the Kusanine leaned back to avoid his attack. Sasuke leaned forward and tried another punch at the gut, but the Kusanine jumped to avoid being hit. Sasuke dashed forward, not giving his opponent rest. He jumped up into the air and attempted to punch the Kusanine, while Earth pulled him down. The Kusanine brought out both her hands and blocked Sasuke's attempt. She tried punching Sasuke on his chest, but Sasuke was able to see the attack thanks to his Sharingan. He jumped back to avoid being hit. The Kusanine rushed at Sasuke and tried kicking him, but Sasuke blocked the kick with his knee. Sasuke's right fist flew into the Kusanine's face, but she bends down to avoid the attack. Sasuke saw an opening and got down, attempting a leg sweep. But the Kusanine jumped, returning the favor with a kick to the face. He was able to see the kick coming, but he was unable to either dodge nor block the incoming attack that Sasuke into a tree. Sasuke hit a tree with a grunt that followed after the impact. Is this all you can do, Sasuke-kun, even you your Sharingan? Kusanine said while chuckling, earning a glare from Sasuke. He was trying to understand just who the person was. He could not land a hit on the person. The Kusanine did not wait for Sasuke to clear his thoughts. He dashed forward to the Uchiha. Sasuke was forced to dodge a power punch that shattered the tree branch he was standing at. The Kusanine charged at Sasuke again. They engaged in a taijutsu fight. Sasuke smirked as he got a hit at the Kusanine face. He did not stop there, he added a kick to the chest that sent the Kusanine flying. He continued smirking, thinking that it was not hopeless as he had thought at first. Sasuke did hand seals for his favorite fire release. Great Fireball, muttered as the fireball sped at the Kusanine. His smirk widened when he saw his hit the Kusanine. He ended his jutsu and saw the Kusanine standing there with his devilish grin placed on as if nothing had happened. His eyes widened in disbelief. It should not have been possible for someone to take on the head-on and still stand like nothing had happened. He watched in disgust as the skin of Kusanine's face began to peel off, revealing a paler skin underneath. The Kusanine blurred out of view and appeared behind Sasuke. Sasuke was kicked hard on his back and sent crashing towards a tree. Aw, grunted as he hit the tree. He got panting and looked back at the Kusanine. The Kusanine looked at Sasuke with calculating eyes. Sasuke was indeed a skilled young boy. She had proven it, and her eyes liked what he had witnessed from Sasuke. Stay back, don't come any closer. Sasuke stuttered out, seeing the Kusanine making his way to him. Orochimaru did not stop. He slowly made his way over to Sasuke with calculating eyes. Do you want power, Sasuke-kun? The Kusanine asked with a wide grin. Sasuke lost his fear and took a confused look on his face. He wanted power, and what confused him was why Orochimaru would ask him that kind of question. The Kusanine stopped in front of Sasuke and spoke again. I know you want power to kill Itachi Uchiha, Sasuke-kun, and I can give you that power. Sasuke's eyes burned with hatred the moment Itachi's name was registered to his mind. He hated nothing and no one more than his older brother Itachi. His neck extended in lengths that no human neck should extend. 2 large fangs grew from his mouth as his head traveled towards Sasuke's neck. Sasuke just froze, not knowing what to do, as the Kusanin's fangs became one with Sasuke's neck before Orochimaru retrieved his head. Sasuke let out a pained scream before falling down. "Sasuke Kayuen!" Sakura yelled out while rushing at the fallen form of Sasuke. She had heard his pained scream. It was not healthy. She ran to see if he was okay. The Kusanin looked at Sakura with a wide grin. He chuckled darkly. He had achieved what he had come for and more. It was just a matter of time before Sasuke came to him looking for power. "What did you do to Sasuke Kayuen?" Sakura demanded that the person in front of her was a Sannin, and could kill her in a second. She was just too angry that he had hurt Sasuke. The Kusanin looked at Sakura with amused by her bravery. "I simply gave him a gift that will help him avenge his clan," the Kusanin replied. Suddenly the Kusanin shinobi trained senses kicked in just in time, and he was able to dodge a sudden lightning bolt just in time. "What the hell," thought the Kusanin. "I'm gone for 5 minutes and you two get yourselves in so much trouble," said a voice. The Grassnin and 2 Genins looked toward the voice direction and they saw Naruto standing on a tree branch watching everything, and he looked pissed. Well, why is Naruto Uzumaki Konoha's next yellow flash?" the Kusanin said, angering Naruto. "Orochimaru of the Legendary? What are you doing here? Don't tell me that you were demoted to a mere genin. How pitiful," Naruto said in a mocking tone. Sakura paled at hearing name, because why wouldn't everyone have heard of Orochimaru, a genius shinobi who had trained under the 3rd Hokage along with Jiraiya and Tsunade Senju. A man who was considered the foremost ninjutsu expert, and along with his 2 other teammates, he had dubbed the title of the legendary Sannin due to their famous battle against Hanzo of the Salamander. He was also one of the Leaf's worst traitors, an S-rank missing nin, who wanted for inhumane experimentation on citizens of the Leaf and most likely, many other villages and countries. "Why don't you remote that ruined face and show us your really one?" said Naruto. "Very well, I will do what you ask," Orochimaru said, removing the rest of the burnt face to reveal his true face. He had very pale skin, golden eyes with slitted pupils, purple markings around his eyes and fawn-like teeth. He also has pronounced cheekbones and straight waist-length black hair with some locks covering and framing his face or to his shoulders. He was wearing gray garbs with a black polo and pants underneath. A thick purple rope belt tied in a large knot behind his back, blue tomo-shaped earrings, and shinobi sandals with bandages around his calves. "I'm curious, now you figure out that it was me?" Orochimaru asked. "Well, most genin don't have a dark and chakra like yours, but what really gave you away was that giant snake you sent after me was a dead giveaway," said Naruto. "I see, but if it was me then why come back here?" Orochimaru asked with curiosity. "Well, I got to save those 2 over there or else I'll have to deal with the Konoha Council," said Naruto. Naruto then threw one of his unique kunai at Sasuke and Sakura then teleported to them. "So it really is true that indeed knows the flying thunder jutsu. I wonder how," thought Orochimaru. "Sakura, listen to me, take Sasuke and get out of here, while I hold this guy off," said Naruto. "Naruto, you can't be serious. Look at what he did to us. You don't stand a chance against someone like him," says Sakura. "I have a better chance of surviving this if you 2 ain't here, so Sakura, for the first time and probably the only time, listen to me and leave," Naruto shouted angrily. Thankfully for Naruto, Sakura actually listened to Naruto for once and took Sasuke and left Naruto to deal with Orochimaru. "How noble of you, Naruto, sacrificing yourself to save your comrades. It seems that you're just like the original Yellow Flash," said Orochimaru. Now that is it, Naruto thought angrily, hating every idea of him being just like his father. Naruto quickly did a couple hand seals and both his fingerless gloves and his boots glow for a bit, meaning that Naruto had deactivated the waiting seal on him, not wanting anything holding him, especially against someone like Orochimaru. Now armed with his true speed and strength, Naruto quickly charged at Orochimaru and engaged him in a taijutsu battle. He tried to punch Orochimaru in the face, but he jumped back in time and avoided Naruto's punch. However, Naruto was right behind him, and he tried kicking as a follow-up to his dodged punch. Orochimaru caught his attack with little effort. Naruto was expecting something like this, so in quick movement his fist connected with Orochimaru's face, breaking some of his teeth and sending him flying away from him. Can't give him any time to recover, thought Naruto as he started doing a couple of hands. Lighting style. Lightning roar, said Naruto as he let out a blast of lightning, though his mouth, which headed straight at where Orochimaru was and Naruto's attack, went through the tree and caused the top half of the tree to fall to the ground. However, as the smoke cleared, it revealed nothing was there, and Naruto knew that attack wasn't nearly enough to kill someone like Orochimaru. Impressive Naruto, but not good enough, Orochimaru said behind Naruto, and suddenly snakes burst out of the ground and wrapped themselves around Naruto tightly. But now there's something I need to do, Orochimaru said as he was ready to bite on Naruto's neck just like what he did to Sasuke. Yeah, no, Naruto simply said before he started channeling his chakra, and in a sudden burst of white energy appeared around Naruto and destroyed the snakes around him completely. It looks like aura that Ultimate Gohan has. What the? Orochimaru thought of surprise. Thank you, Thunder Release, thought Naruto. What Naruto just did was that he used his Thunder Release bloodline and had it surround him, which will protect only him, and it will harm anyone else, friend or foe. Well, that's interesting. What exactly was that, Naruto? Orochimaru asked out of curiosity. Naruto, however, didn't reply. Instead, he took out one of unique kunai and channeled his chakra through it before he then spinning around to face Orochimaru and sent a small but strong slash of wind at Orochimaru, cutting him deeply in his right shoulder and caused him to bleed badly, and before Orochimaru could have any time to recover, Naruto was already in air, and he did a sweep kick to Orochimaru's head, and it then sent him flying into another tree. However, that didn't stop Orochimaru for long, as he picked himself up and did a couple hand signs and said fire style. Fire breath, and he then let out a breath of a powerful stream of fire from his mouth, and it headed straight at Naruto, but before it could even hit him, Naruto quickly slammed his hands on the ground and said ice style. Ice wall. Then a wall of ice formed right in front of Naruto, protecting him against Orochimaru's attack. So he does actually have the ice release bloodline. Interesting, thought Orochimaru. Naruto placed one of his flying thunder seals on the ground and drew his sword, as well as took out another one of his unique kunais just in time as Orochimaru appeared on the right side of the ice wall, and he had his sword, which Naruto recognized the sword of Kusanagi, or grass-mowing sword. It was a double-edged sword. Lucky for Naruto, he managed to dodge Orochimaru when swinged his blade and instead hit the ice wall, shattered it. So that's the sword of Kusanagi, thought Naruto. Naruto ready his blade and attack Orochimaru, who managed to block Naruto's attack, and their blades clash against each, and as they hold their ground, Naruto throw his unique kunai at Orochimaru's head, who dodged easily, and he used free hand to perform the hidden shadow snake's hands technique to eject a snake from his sleeve to try to bite onto and poison Naruto. However, Naruto planned for Orochimaru to dodge, and he then teleport behind Orochimaru and quickly channel lightning chakra through his sword and slash downwards on Orochimaru's back, causing him to bleed deeply there as well, but that didn't stop him as he quickly spin around and was about to cut Naruto in the face. However, Naruto teleport away for a moment as he seal up his blade and use his chakra mold to create a sledgehammer and teleport back to Orochimaru. As Naruto reappeared, he swinged his sledgehammer at Orochimaru, sending him into the air. Naruto then channeled lightning chakra to the bottom of his feet, and he shot up through the air at high speed, pasting Orochimaru, and Naruto channeled lightning chakra through his sledgehammer, causing the top part of it to turn into lightning. Combine attack. Lightning sledgehammer, Naruto said as he slammed lightning sledgehammer downwards on Orochimaru's chest, as sending him crashing to the ground, and the attack also burned his chest and broke his ribs, causing Orochimaru to cough up a lot of blood. That got to do some damage to him, at least, thought Naruto. However, my, you are really something. I wouldn't mind having you as a vessel, Orochimaru said as he opened his mouth to inhuman proportions and spitted out another Orochimaru that wasn't damaged and left the skin of the old behind. That was one of the most disgusting thing I have ever saw in my life, Naruto thought. Creep out. I'd better leave before Konoha gets wind of me being here, thought Orochimaru. I would like to keep going, but I have other things to attend to, Orochimaru said before he disappeared. I got to find Sasuke and Sakura. Knowing those two, they probably got themselves in more trouble, Naruto said as he was catching his breath. With Anko, Mitarashi cursed under breath as she leapt through the forest. It was already dusk, and there had still been no sign of her target, her former teacher Orochimaru. It's almost nightfall. I must find him quickly. Once it gets totally dark, I will be at further disadvantage against him, Anko said aloud as she traveled. But why is he at the time like this? What is his plan? She chuckled and shook her head as she leapt from tree to tree, the only sound she made with each leap being her own breath. Well, it makes no difference, she went on. If you have come to this village, then we will settle this thing now. You are now the bingo book level S dangerous person. She jumped from branch to branch, not making a sound. I must stop you even if it costs me my life. And if that's not possible, I must slow you down until Umbu arrives. However, just then she started to hurt from the right side of her neck, and she heard a creepy laugh from behind her. She quickly turned around and saw Orochimaru just standing there with an amusementful look on his face as he watched his former apprentice. It's been a long time, Anko-chan. You can cut the pleasantries, Orochimaru, as you're a wanted S-class criminal and I am going to kill you here and now, even if it costs me my life, spoke Anko with the utmost seriousness, where 4 needles appeared out of her right-hand coat sleeve and into her hand. It is my duty after all. I was once your student, and I learned everything I know from you, continued Anko, where she then prepared to throw her needles at the former Sannin. Orochimaru of course just smiled at this, where he then spat out his tongue, which stretched to an impossible length and headed straight for Anko, who quickly jumped up into the air to avoid it and landed on the trunk of another tree opposite the one that Orochimaru had merged with, where she channeled her chakra to her feet to keep from falling off the tree. Sadly though, Orochimaru's tongue followed after her, where it then wrapped itself around Anko's right arm and pulled her back onto the tree branch she was previously on. Anko quickly countered by holding out her left hand and then cried out hidden shadow snake hands, after which several snakes erupted from the sleeves of her arms and flew towards the snake Sannin and pulled him out of the tree trunk. There's not a chance in hell that I'm going to let you escape, cried Anko as she pulled Orochimaru towards her and slammed him into the tree behind her and retracted her snakes. Once she had retracted her snakes back into her sleeves, Anko then pinned Orochimaru to the tree by piercing both their left hands together with a kunai, while at the same time she took hold of his other hand with her right and formed a seal with them. I have you now, said Anko with a smile, as she saw the realization dawn on Orochimaru when he recognized the seal. That's right, you and I are going to die together here, said Anko, as she prepared her jutsu and thought twin snakes mutual death technique. But before she could finish the jutsu, she suddenly heard Orochimaru speak from behind her. I'm afraid you will die alone here, Anko-chan, Orochimaru's voice said behind Anko. Surprised at this, Anko quickly turned around, where at the same time, the night moon came out from behind the clouds, showing Orochimaru standing directly behind her. Seeing the confused look on his former apprentice's face, Orochimaru decided to explain. I'm afraid all you have there is a replacement. Hearing this, Anko quickly turned around and saw that the Orochimaru that she had caught was indeed a clone, where when she turned it immediately reverted into mud, revealing it as a Earth-style, shadow clone. You shouldn't use the forbidden technique that I taught you, Anko-chan, since you're one of Konoha's Tokubetsu Jonin now, said Orochimaru with a smile as he slowly walked to Anko. Angered by how she had been tricked by the former Sannin, Anko quickly pulled the kunai she had stabbed herself with and threw it at Orochimaru. But before it could hit the Sannin in the head, he caught it with ease between his 2 front fingers. It's useless, Anko-chan, you don't have the power nor the skill to defeat me, said Orochimaru, where he then did a single one-handed hand seal and activated Anko's curse seal, causing the young woman to fall to her knees in pain. After Anko fell to her knees, Orochimaru slowly walked up to her and lifted her head up slightly so that he could look her directly in the face. Why have you returned? Asked Anko as she tried to fight the pain. I must say, I'm actually disappointed in you, Anko-chan. We haven't seen each other in years and you have done nothing but treat me so coldly, taunted Orochimaru. Have you come here to kill the 3rd Hokage? Asked Anko, as she held her left shoulder. Oh no, as sadly I don't have enough followers to attempt that just yet, replied Orochimaru with a smile. I actually came here to observe and test a young genin here, who has shown more promise than you did, so I placed my curse seal on him, said Orochimaru. You monster, you did that to a genin, stated Anko. I am certain the boy will survive, however there is another that caught my attention greatly, said Orochimaru. Someone caught your attention, said Anko. Yes he did, and he is something else, asked Orochimaru as he cupped the left side of Anko's face. You just can't forgive me for using and tossing you aside. Can you? Upon hearing this, Anko glared angrily at her former sensei, as she remembered how he used her. In many ways, both boys show even more potential than you did, explained Orochimaru. For you see, one of them has inherited unique abilities of the Uchiha clan, while the other has both abilities and skills far beyond his years and already possesses a seal on him, said Orochimaru. Upon hearing this, Anko's eyes widened in surprise, as she quickly realized who the other person Orochimaru was talking about. You mean Naruto Uzumaki? Said Anko. Oh yes, Naruto-kun especially shows a great deal of power, far beyond what Sasuke-kun. Either he or Sasuke-kun could become perfect candidates for my plans in the future, answered Orochimaru. Getting a little greedy, aren't we? Going after 2 genin at once, taunted Anko. Perhaps, but it would be such a waste not to, replied Orochimaru with a smile, after which he then stood up and started to walk away from Anko. I will keep a close eye on them. As Orochimaru walked away, he then suddenly turned around, Also, whatever happens, do not cancel the exam. 3 of my followers are taking part in the exam and I look forward to seeing how fair they are. Should you cancel the exam, then Konoha's fate is sealed, and I will destroy it far sooner. Once Orochimaru had said this, he then turned away from Anko and disappeared in a whirl of purple flames, leaving Anko alone. Orochimaru! Anko yelled, but her former sensei had already gone from there. She rushed toward the tower to inform the third Hokage about this new development. You mean Naruto Uzumaki? Said Anko. Oh yes, Naruto-kun especially shows a great deal of power, way beyond what Sasuke-kun. Either he or Sasuke-kun could become perfect candidates for my plans in the future, answered Orochimaru. Getting a little greedy, aren't we? Going after 2 genin at once, taunted Anko. Perhaps, but as Naruto is the nine-tailed fox, he can't become my new vessel, so I will settle for Sasuke-kun instead, replied Orochimaru with a smile, after which he then stood up and started to walk away from Anko. As Orochimaru walked away, he then suddenly turned around. Also, whatever happens, do not cancel the exam. 3 of my followers are taking part in the exam and I look forward to seeing how fair they are. Should you cancel the exam, then Konoha's fate is sealed, and I will destroy it far sooner. Once Orochimaru had said this, he then turned away from Anko and disappeared in a whirl of purple flames, leaving Anko alone. Orochimaru! Anko yelled, but her former sensei had already gone from there. She rushed toward the tower to inform the third Hokage about this new development. Now at the current time with Naruto. Naruto was running through the forest of death towards Sasuke and Sakura were because thanks to his sensing ability he knew where they were at. However, he was stopped by another Konoha team who older than him, and from what Naruto sensed from their chakra levels they were civilians but had well-made colors and weapons, meaning that their parents were members of the civilian council. What can we do for you 3? Said Naruto. The team in front of him weren't much to be worried as there were 3 of them and there was only one Naruto. The name's Kitsuhara Akamitsu. Hand over your scroll and we won't hurt you. Much demon, the one standing in front of Naruto says with a smile. This is going to be fun, Naruto thought before he threw one of his unique kunai at the one standing in the middle of 3 and slit his throat, killing him. What the hell? The one standing at Naruto's left side shouted in fear. Why, you bastard! The one standing at Naruto's right side shouted in anger, and because of his anger he attacked Naruto with a gold kunai, and he aimed straight for Naruto's face. However, Naruto dodged it easily and got behind his attacker, and by using his superior strength he broke his neck, killing him as well. Naruto turned to face a third older genin who fell on his ass being scared of Naruto, and he held out his right hand at Naruto. Please weary be both Konoha shinobi, the older shinobi begged. However, Naruto didn't listen to him, and he pointed his right hand in a gun-like fashion, and suddenly lightning shot out of his fingers tips and it went through the older genin chest, hitting his heart, killing him. The way Naruto did it is similar to how Akino Himejima uses her lightning. Naruto then walked and searched the 3 bodies for their scroll and supplies, and once he found them he bit his thumb, which caused it to bleed, but it quickly healed itself, and Naruto used the blood from it and performed a couple hand signs before slamming his right hand on the ground surrounding his right hand, and in a proof of smoke a fox, and it had a whirlpool headband on just like Shingo, but this fox's fur was brown. Hey Naruto, said the fox. Hey Yoko, I need your help, said Naruto. Sure, what do you need? Said Yoko. I'm in the middle of the exams where my team needs 2 scrolls and head towards the large tower in the middle of this forest, but my team and I got separated, and I have a feeling that they are in trouble, Naruto explained. Okay, what do you need me to do? Said Yoko. I want you to go to the tower with one of my kunais so when I get teammates, and the other scroll that I need I will be able to teleport to the tower straight away, said Naruto. Yes sure, said Yoko. Thanks Yoko, said Naruto before he handed Yoko one of his kunais as well as placed another seal on it which will alert Naruto that Yoko has made it to the tower. After Yoko took the kunai and made his way towards the tower, Naruto also continued his way towards Sasuke and Sakura. When Naruto finally arrived where Sakura and Sasuke was, and he noticed it was a mayhem going on with Sakura was on the ground with her hair cut in half and multiple kunai wounds. Lee was also there but he bleeding from his ears and a few bruises. Team 10 seemed to be trying to hold off the sound team but to no avail, and finally Sasuke, who was unconscious from what Orochimaru did to him. Pathetic, the lot of Udosa said, smirking as he picked up kunai and made his way towards Sasuke to kill him, and no one could stop him. Until Naruto shunned Shin in front of him, and quickly delivered a good kick to him that sent him into the ground. Everyone was happy to see that someone had arrived to help them. Another one, these guys just keep coming, Zaku said, getting pissed off because every time they tried to kill the Uchiha, someone came along and got in their way. Good, now with Naruto here we have a better chance to win this, thought Shikamaru. Awesome, with Naruto here with us we will win this for sure, thought Choji. Alright, now with Naruto here with us they don't stand a chance against us, thought Ino. Why don't you just leave? You are no match for me, Naruto said, smirking. I'll rip that smile out of your face, Dosa snickered and flexed his arm, showing his gauntlet melody arm, Dosa said as he channeled chakra to his arm. Naruto could sense that the sound waves were filled with chakra, so he threw one of his unique kunai past Dosu, who just thought Naruto tried to hit him but failed badly. Dosa sensed as the waves traveled the air and was about to hit. However, Naruto teleported away and the waves instead hit the tree that was behind Naruto, which destroyed the part that it hit and caused it to fall down. Naruto stood in the middle of the area with the kunai that he just threw in his hands. Don't think I'll fall for that trick, Naruto said, inwardly smirking, with the rest of rookies that were awake stared at the blonde. Enough of this crap, I'll deal with this, Zaku said and stepped forward, intending to end the battle in one attack. Wind style. Decapitating airwaves, Zaku said, and channeling chakra through his arms he sent a gust of wind towards Naruto. Naruto stood in place and only lifted his right arm that had his unique kunai, and he channeled wind chakra through it, and then he cut the gust of wind in half, leaving him. Zaku watched as the dust cloud started to disappear, only to find Naruto in the same place. Is that it, Naruto said, smirking, which Zaku got even more mad. However, before he could do anything, a sudden large pulse of dark chakra emanating from Sasuke's body. When everyone looked towards where KT was coming from, they saw Sasuke standing up, surrounded by dark chakra, and had markings covering his body. It's the cure mark, it's activated, thought Naruto. It was upon seeing this that Dosu realized that Orochimaru had placed one of his curse seal on Sasuke, and now he and his team stood no chance of beating Sasuke with the curse seal helping him. But before he could order his teammate Zaku to pull back, his teammate attacked and tried to kill both Sakura and Sasuke with his wind style. Extreme decapitating airwaves. Unfortunately for Zaku, Sasuke was able to evade the attack, while carrying Sakura to safety at the same time. After which he easily defeated Zaku, with his fire style, Phoenix Sage fire technique combined with Shuriken, and his newly enhanced speed from the curse mark, where he then dislocated both Zaku's arms. When those watching the battle saw this, many of them couldn't believe the brutality that Sasuke was showing. Those who knew Sasuke, like Team 10 and Sakura, were of course frightened by all this, especially when they saw the dark sadistic look on his face. This was only highlighted by the dark aura that was surrounding him, along with the markings covering his body and his Sharingan being activated. After defeating Zaku, Sasuke then turned to Dosu, who immediately took a step back in fear when he saw Sasuke looking at him. When Sakura saw this, she knew that there was something wrong with Sasuke, and it had to do with the mark that Orochimaru had placed on Sasuke yesterday. But just when she was about to run over to Sasuke and stop him, the young Uchiha heir was forced to jump away, when he saw a gleam of light from his left, along with a fast-moving blur. After avoiding the blur, Sasuke quickly turned to see who his assailant was, where he narrowed his eyes with annoyance, when he saw that it was his teammate Naruto. Naruto, fight me! I want to test this new power against you, Sasuke commanded, and he quickly rushed at Naruto and engaged in a taijutsu battle. Sasuke-kun, please stop this, Sakura said, crying on the ground. This was all too much for her. She had to defend Sasuke, but she got crushed. She watched as someone bit Sasuke in the neck and gave him some strange marking, and she was watching Sasuke apparently out of control. I don't have time for this. I can't allow him to use this curse mark any longer, Naruto thought as he quickly outmaneuvered Sasuke and got behind him, and he gave Sasuke a quick chop to his neck, knocking him out, after which the dark chakra and markings vanished, returning Sasuke back to his normal self. Sasuke-kun! Both Sakura and Into cried as they raced over to the unconscious Sasuke. Unbelievable, he was actually able to defeat the Uchiha, despite him having the power of the curse mark seal from Lord Orochimaru, thought Dosu. He's clearly no ordinary genin, that's for sure. Naruto then turned his attention on Dosu, and he walked towards him, and Naruto's dark purple animal eyes made the Otonin very nervous. If you value your life and the lives of your teammates, you will accept the offer I'm about to make, Naruto said in a cold and serious tone. What kind of offer? Dosu asked, curiosity as well as doing his best to remain calm and show no fear, despite the situation he was in. You will hand over your scroll to me, and in return I'll allow you to leave with your team peacefully, answered Naruto. And what would happen should I refuse this gracious offer of yours? Asked Dosu. Then I will take the scroll by force, Naruto said in a cold and serious tone. Very well then, I agree, replied Dosu, that it would be pointless to refuse. At this Naruto only nodded, and when Dosu gave Naruto his Team Earth scroll, thankfully was the one that Naruto needed, he then went over to his two teammates who were unconscious and picked them up and left the area. Just then Lee's teammates Niji and Tenten arrived, most likely looking for their teammate. "How nice of you to join us," Niji said. Naruto, "What happened here? What did you do to Lee?" Niji asked, activating his and getting ready to attack until he got his answers. "Nothing, he was like that when I got here," said Naruto. "He's telling you the truth, those Oto ninjas did that to him when he was defending Sakura," said Shikamaru. "Okay then," Niji said before he turned his attention to his teammate. "Tenten, go and get Lee, we're leaving," said Niji. "Sure thing," Tenten said as she walked over to Lee and picked him up by placing his arm around her shoulder, after which they headed off. Just then a seal on his left palm started to glow, meaning that Yoko had reached the tower. Good, then he can finish this part of the exam, thought Naruto as he walked over Sakura, who was still holding on to the unconscious Sasuke with Ino. "Sakura, we're leaving as well," said Naruto. "But Sasuke-kun need to rest," said Sakura. "Yeah, he hasn't even woken up yet," said Ino. "That isn't going to be a problem, so let go of him," Ino said. Naruto. Just as Ino let go of Sasuke, Naruto walked over to them and placed right hand on Sasuke and his left hand on Sakura before all three disappeared in a golden flash, leaving a shocked Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino behind. "What the hell?" said Ino. "They're gone," said Choji. "At least we don't have to worry about dealing with him," thought Shikamaru. A couple days. It has been 4 days since Naruto's team arrived at the tower. However, they weren't the first team that arrived at the tower, as it was the team from Suna, and the next day the next teams that arrived was Kumo and IWA. The day after, 2 more teams show up. The team from Kiri and the other team from Kumo show up. 2 days later 3 teams from Konoha show up, and finally on the last day 1 more Konoha team show up, and it was Kabuto's team as well as the team from Oto with their 4th member bring the person that Naruto fought against at the Land of Waves. Mitsuki. All the genin were lined up with team, and stood in front of them were their senseis and the 3rd Hokages. Suna sensei is a very tall man. He has 2 distinctive, red markings on the right side of his face, the only visible part of his head, with the rest being covered by his turban-like headgear and by a sheet hanging from it on the left side of his face. He dons the standard attire of a Sunanin, complete with a forehead protector and flak jacket. His name was Baki. The IWA sensei is a very tall and brawny shinobi. He has dark eyes and short dark gray-colored hair as well as a beard and a bulbous nose. He wears the standard Iwagakure shinobi uniform with a left sleeve and a right lapel. He also wears the forehead protector of the Alliance in a bandana style and bandages around his right arm. His name Kitsuchi Kamizuru, the son of the current Sachika Janoki, the fence-sitter. The Oto sensei has long black hair, tie and a ponytail, and cream skin with yellow eyes. He wore a similar outfit to the Konoha standard uniform but was black version. He was secretly Orochimaru. The standing sensei has dark brown, spiky hair and dark eyes. His most prominent feature is the dark green mark that runs down the bridge of his nose. He wears the standard outfit of a Kumogakure ninja, complete with hand and shin guards as well as Kumo flak jacket. He also had a light gray scarf around his neck. His name is Mota. The other Kumo sensei had short and spiky, dark-colored hair, and he had grown a small goatee. He wears the high-collared variant of the Kumogakure outfit along with a flak jacket, and his signature hat-styled forehead protector. His eye patch now has the stylized kanji for lightning inscribed upon it, and his name was Dodai. It's impressive that so many made it this far. And many of them are recently made genin. This generation certainly has a lot of promise, thought the Sandaime. To everyone who has made it this far, I would like to congratulate you on passing the 2nd stage of the Chunin exams, Anko started, breaking everyone from their thoughts. Now I suggest that you listen carefully to Hokage-sama, who will be explaining the 3rd test. Hiruzen cleared his throat and began to speak. Before that, I wish to explain something to you. It concerns the true meaning of these Chunin selection exams. Why do we have all the allied countries taking the exam at the same time, even some neutral countries? He looked around at all genin's faces to promote friendship among countries, to raise the level of shinobi. Do not be confused, this exam is war. He paused, accentuating his declaration. The tension in the area increased as some genins shifted uncomfortably. If we were to turn back time, at some point, all of us would be fighting the other countries over who would rule. This exam is an alternative that allows us countries to avoid such wasteful fighting. For the 3rd test, lords and ladies of all countries as well as the leaders of your countries will all be watching your fights. You will fight with your life on the line to protect not your homeland but its prestige. If your country is seen as weak, you will lose clients, the livelihood of a shinobi. If you are strong, you will gain clients, bolstering your home. If your country is shown as a strong country, it will also send a political message to other countries. He took a breath from all the talking. Then why must we risk our lives? There has to be a better way to fight for this prestige, Kiba argued. The strength of the country is the strength of the village, the strength of the village is the strength of the shinobi, and a shinobi's true strength is only born with life-risking battle, Hiruzen said with a serious voice. This exam only has meaning because there are life-risking battles. The friendships between shinobi countries must this, and it is as soon as this that we call it an exercise in friendship. This fight is not just your own, it is a life-risking battle with the prestige of your country in line with your own performance. He was just about to start talking again when a sickly-looking jounin appeared in front of him. Cough, actually Hokage-sama. Cough, would you please let me explain this, cough, to the genins? The said. Hiruzen nodded and took a step back. The jounin stood up and turned around. Naruto had to raise an eyebrow at the man's appearance. He dressed in the standard jounin uniform and had a bandana-style headband. However, what caught his attention were the deep bags under his eyes as well as his general sickly look. Is he sick or something? He should be in the hospital, not here. If that's something we could catch it. Welcome, my name is Cough, Gecko Hate, and I'm the proctor for the cough, third stage of the Chunin exams. Hate spoke, coughing so much that many genins wondered if he was fit for duty. Unfortunately, it seems that the first and second stages of the Chunin exams were too easy, and we now have too many candidates. Because this, we will be holding the preliminary matches. Shikamura muttered to himself before speaking louder. What the hell? Preliminaries? He asked. Hate coughed again before responding. Because the first and second tests were too easy this year, we've too many participants for the third test. The Chunin exams rules state that we must thin out the numbers of those taking the third exam. As Hokage-sama has explained, there are many visitors for this exam and time is limited, so too many participants cannot be accommodated. He coughed again. Those that wish to withdraw may step forward and do so now that they have heard these conditions. Also, this is an individual basis from here on out, and if you quit, your team will not penalize. The rules for this battle are simple. There are no rules, the match continues until one of you dies out, or declares defeat. If you don't wish to kill, quickly acknowledge your defeat. When the winner has been clearly established, I will jump in and stop the fight. If you continue to harm your opponent after the fight has declared, you may find yourself in the hospital, Hate said as he coughed, then smiled at the group of genins. And now the first two who take part in this part of the exams are Sasuke Uchiha vs. Misumi Tsurugi. May Sasuke Uchiha vs. Misumi Tsurugi begin, Hate said, and he moved out from the arena. Sasuke chose not to attack head-on, but waited for his opponent to make a move. You're an Uchiha, huh? Tsurugi asked. Yeah. So what, you're going to give up now? Sasuke smirked. Just because I've the Sharingan doesn't mean you don't stand a chance. He thoughtfully looked up for a second. Oh wait, it does. Then he suddenly jumped up and performed a few hand seals. Fire release, Phoenix Sage Fire Jutsu. Tsurugi slithered around all the small fireballs that Sasuke was spewing out of him. Sasuke stopped his attacks and landed on the ground several feet away from his opponent. Come at me, Uchiha! The glasses-wearing Leaf Nin shouted. You can bend your body any way you want, huh? Sasuke said. Which means you just want to choke me to death or someone I come close. He then snorted. Fine, try it. Sasuke rushed forward and caught Tsurugi right in the jaw with a right hook. As he expected, Tsurugi's neck twisted back, but Sasuke easily jumped away from Tsurugi's now failed headbutt. Instead, Tsurugi's head came face to face with Sasuke's left foot. Again, Tsurugi's neck twisted back and Sasuke just reacted with a roundhouse kick, this time making Tsurugi's entire body twist around. Tsurugi taunted, Hey, you're too slow to counter me. Sasuke swept both of Tsurugi's legs from under him and followed up with an elbow in his stomach. Tsurugi flailed through the air and Sasuke quickly performed a few hand seals. However, good try. Fire release, Dragon Fire Jutsu. To his surprise, his stream of fire dodged. Your attacks aren't that powerful, you know? Tsurugi chuckled as he approached Sasuke fast. But then, it's a little hard to hurt a body like mine. Is it? Said Sasuke. Tsurugi's eyes widened as Sasuke was now behind him, planting a kunai right into his shoulder, followed by another one into his knee. You can't move so smoothly now, can you? He asked as he jumped over Tsurugi, who was screaming in pain. Before he landed, Sasuke threw another kunai straight through Tsurugi's left foot. Don't underestimate me, brat. Tsurugi screamed and chuckled at the same time. These wounds. I can move them to a less annoying spot with this body of mine. He dropped on the ground. Winner is Sasuke Uchiha, Hate said. Sasuke started walking away, only to momentarily pause and stare at the medics taking Tsurugi away. He started walking again. I must say, my eternal rival. Your both students are quite talented, Guy said to Kakashi, whose face was buried in his favorite book. Kakashi lowered the book and looked at Guy. What? Did you say something, Guy? Damn you and your hip attitude, Kakashi! Guy shouted dramatically. Works every time, Kakashi thought happily. You were great, Sasuke-kun! Ino and Sakura shouted, trying to cheer Sasuke. Kakashi walked up to Sasuke and placed his hand on Sasuke's right shoulder. Let's deal with that curse mark, shall we? Kakashi said quietly so no one would hear him, and Kakashi then used the Shunshin no to teleport him and Sasuke away. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoy it. If you want the next part of this video, turn on that bell notification. Like, subscribe and comment down below. And also check out the others' videos I have created and enjoyed it. See you guys next video. Till that, take care.